Dustin Vaught's here. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. Thanks for having me on this episode of The Living Directors. That's the podcast we're doing, right?
It is.
Okay, cool.
The Films of 25 series.
Do you normally say what people are listening to? Because you've just said, hey, we're here with Dustin Vaught. You didn't even say what we're doing or anything.
Or put the beginning at the end type of thing, yeah.
But, okay.
So Mark Maron, like one of the biggest influences for a lot of us.
Who is that?
What I like about what he does is he just has the shit rolling. You come in, there's no intros. That's real.
We've talked about this. This is like Raymond Carver.
I don't know. I
He's
don't remember that.
Short author, short writer, short story writer. One of the most famous in American history. All of his stories.
I'm an English
major. Similar to Mark Maron for the podcast world. He is two short stories. Raymond Carver, all of his stories famously, they always start right in the middle of whatever the scene is, essentially.
Did he write the one about us being like meat suits with consciousness or something? Never mind.
I don't believe so. Okay. A lot of his stuff, it was very, a lot of domestic life. Everything Must Go. They actually got adapted into that Will Ferrell movie where he like is out in the yard selling stuff. Yeah. Like that was a Raymond Carver short story originally. Yeah.
Did he do Revolutionary Road too?
No.
Thinking of domestic
No,
stuff.
he did not do Revolution. Maybe he did. I'm probably wrong right off the bat, so that's a good start.
Okay. What a topical movie. What a prescient, relevant film in America in 2025.
Why do you say that?
We'll talk plenty about it. Viva la Revolucion. Just off the top, what are some other films on the top of your head that were just incredibly relevant when they came out politically? I'm thinking of All the President's Men.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Watergate movie?
Yeah, for sure.
Anything kind of just instantly come to your mind? You saw like, oh, this movie really came out at the right time. Very topical politically.
Well, Richard Yates wrote Revolutionary Road, by the way.
Oh, thank
you. Yeah, just put that.
All research on your phone is welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I think All the President's Men is definitely a very prescient film. I talk about this a lot, but with my main thing is horror films, and I think that it's really, when you look at the history of horror and reflection of what was going on with horror, especially like Psycho was really reflective of white flight at the time period and the beginning of suburbia. So that whole film really reflects a lot of that was going on. I talk about a lot about that in the 1980s, where you saw a rise of censorship within films, especially the rise of Reagan's powers, and you can really see that in the Friday the 13th films. They become a lot more subdued, and so horror films themselves started becoming a lot more censored. So you saw, as there was a rise of conservatism within the United States, you saw that reflected in all the horror films in the 1980s. And the Friday the 13th is such a great one because they're churning those out like annually in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So you really got to see it in those films. So by the end of the 80s, towards the the end of the franchise before it was rebooted, they were pretty neutered.
Yeah, that almost kind of goes hand in hand with the kind of capitalist churn things out model, redo what works to make your buck.
Well, I mean, you can say that. I don't want to say that necessarily about Friday the 13th. I was just simply stating more of reflecting of what the external pressures were on them.
I guess I bring that up because that was kind of one of the first films that really started churning out sequels, as far as I can think, and like around that time, anyways. And now it's just so commonplace.
Well, I mean, you had the Abbott and Costello films. You had so many of the serials of the 40s. Well, yeah, I'm serious though. But you had you look at a lot of those, the Charlie Chan films, which obviously have not aged well. But so many
Charlie
of those,
Chan reference, nice.
Those were serials. Those were a lot of those were feature-length films.
Sorry, I have a novel, Charlie Chan.
Oh, nice. Those were churning those out. Sure. The studio system created an assembly line so they were able to really pop those out. But you are right. I mean, that was like a very major franchise. That was an assembly line, and they were definitely. There's actually a really good. There's a couple of really great books about the Friday the 13th series and the studio's involvement with them and how they were churning those out, and it was pretty fascinating, especially once Sean S. Cunningham kind of stepped away from the franchise. Yeah,
very fascinating. Speaking of authors, One Battle is based on Thomas Pynchon novel Vineland.
Yes.
Written in 1990. Are you familiar with Pynchon at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is his second film of his that he's adapted?
Yeah, so Inherent Vice was just a straight-up Pynchon novel. I wanted to rewatch that before this pod. Didn't get to it. But
I'm really... I keep thinking about Phoenix's role in his performance in that movie versus Leo's in this, and I kept wondering how Leo would have played Inherent Vice, and Joaquin Phoenix playing this as well. And I think they both got those characters so well.
Yeah. Love the PTA Pinchon thing. I remember my uncle gave me a copy of The Crying of Lot 49.
Oh.
Did you ever read that?
No, I haven't read that one.
Like, I was always a good reader growing up, but those novels were tough to read. So it's like that marriage of Pinchon's literary style with PTA's filmmaking. It's just like cream of the crop.
Oh, yeah.
Me. On that note, before we get into this movie, the details, let's talk about PTA's filmography and
Please.
Leo's filmography and even Benicio. Not to, Regina Hall and Chase Infinity, new actor, and then Tiana Taylor, just insane performances.
Insane
so
cast.
I'm not like, we'll talk about them a ton. And Regina has been doing this for a long time. Chase is one of her first movies, and Tiana was more of an R&B singer before all this. So Regina deserves her own props, like a lot of great films all the way back to the 90s, I think. But yeah, those three guys kind of, big in the film world: Benicio, Leo, and PTA. What's your PTA movie, or do you want to talk a little bit about your just experience as a fan or as a filmmaker with him?
Yeah, PTA. Oh, I meant to bring in to share with you to have it, but I have this really great Masterworks collection of PTA. It's a retrospective of all of his films. I was really thinking about where this kind of fits in the pantheon of PTA films. I go back and forth. So There Will Be Blood, I think, from a critical perspective, is his masterpiece, or one of his masterpieces. I have not seen any of his films that I don't just genuinely love.
Right. I
think he is my favorite modern filmmaker.
Right.
I even love Licorice Pizza. That's actually, like, I personally and deeply that movie personally resonates with me so much. Phantom Thread is another one. I think more of what I'm saying is these are some of his more recent films that I think a lot of people have because he kind of went from this maximalist approach with Boogie Nights and Magnolia, and he then started going into these more deeply personal character films that you saw even with Punch Drunk Love. You started seeing that transition. The Master, right. There Will Be Blood is such a sprawling film, but it's still like a deeply personal story at the same time. And Phantom Thread and Licorice Pizza are definitely such, in The Master, such personal stories that to see him do one about after another, which feels like it's a combination of so many of the things he's been doing. Sure. Where he has this maximalism of Magnolia and of Boogie Nights, but then you have these deeply personal, rich character stories that you saw in these other films that comes alive in this.
Yeah. Boogie and There Will Be Blood are I think, the big two for PTA for me.
For you? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, 27 when he did Boogie Nights?
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah, which is just insane.
And, he's part of kind of this group of directors. You talk about him being the best in a way for you. I think of the Coen brothers in this around this era as well.
He's Tarantino, a bit younger than those guys too. So that's another thing, So that's another thing to keep in mind. Him and Tarantino for sure. I think there were a lot of people comping them when they were coming up, and I know there's been a lot of talk about their, I don't want to say love-hate, but they definitely have had they've had there's a lot of history with those two.
Well, have we not kind of been in this? It's a kind of a common situation where, you're doing something in a field, and there's this other person over here that's also doing it well. You're like, do I like this person? Do I hate this person? Do I want to work with them? Are they my rival? Like, yeah, that's always fun when that happens.
I also think that we didn't talk about it, but that there is another Paul T. Anderson, or there's another Paul Anderson who's famous.
Oh, really?
Who does the or is it Paul W. Anderson that does the Resident Evil films?
Oh, interesting.
That directs those. So
it's like you have to Coen who directs the Garfield movies.
Exactly. With that H in there does a lot.
We only have so much time, so we won't spend too much time on the histories of these guys. But
please.
Leo.
Oh yeah. So Leo, yeah, absolutely.
What's your Leo? What's
my Leo?
Yeah. What's your Leo film? There's so many. His filmography.
Yeah, he has such a
it's
long.
It's the best, I think.
Yeah, I've thought about a lot of like what was the transition point from him from like heartthrob to like serious leading man. Definitely Gangs of New York, I think, starts that real transition from our common perception. Catch Me If You Can was definitely a big pivoting point. Going toe to toe with Tom Hanks in that film, he was incredible, but he still was like that cute, like handsome young boy.
You nailed it. That was the transitional film, kind of an underrated film. I watched that film so many times.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yes.
Oh, it's such an incredible film. I think it's one of my favorite Spielbergs that I think people sleep on.
That's bold.
It's great. And then, but I think Aviator was the real big film that was like he is leading
also
man.
Underrated to me too.
Yeah, and I mean it was pretty well received when it came out, but I think from a box office perspective it didn't perform as well. So and another Scorsese. So I mean this is a guy who constantly he knows who he's picking to work with.
Yeah, he's coming off the biggest film in the world, the Titanic. He's the biggest star in the world. He's still very young, and he just makes the auteur decision to only work with the best directors. Seems like kind of a no-brainer. If you can.
Yeah. And I mean, because then we didn't talk about it, but you had Romeo and Juliet in that time period, and you also had The Beach with Danny Boyle.
Oh, yeah, The Beach.
Which was like a big risk of a move too. Sure. And I know a lot of people didn't want him to do that, and the movie didn't perform as well. It was still a box office success, but it still like kind of bombed, and so Danny Boyle though was like the up and coming guy at that point.
Sure.
So.
Danny Boyle did Train Spotting, right, and the 28 Days.
Yeah, this was right before he did 28 Days Later.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, so this is right before he transitioned and did 28 Days Later.
Yeah, I think that was his first leading role that came out after Titanic, so the juxtaposition was a little weird for people.
Was it, or
The
was
Beach? I'm pretty sure.
Or was Romeo and Juliet?
That was before Titanic.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay,
because,
you're right.
Homeboy from Severance was talking about how he spoke with him about Titanic on the set of that, or like his dad studied it or something.
But yeah, I think you may be right. Yeah.
So.
And What's Eating Gilbert Grape was another great young. First Oscar nom, I believe. Right.
Yeah. Sean Penn also played a disabled person and got nominated for an Oscar in I Am Sam. Interesting enough.
Yeah, and Tropic Thunder famously references that movie.
Yeah. And I haven't mentioned Penn, and then of course Benicio too.
Yeah, Sean Penn is, I think he is one of those guys that I have a lot of respect for. He is, he's also been someone I've always thought was very self-righteous. And that's how my public persona of him has been, right?
Oh, there's no mistaking that with his public. I mean, he's lived a pretty brash public life for decades.
And so it's kind of like, so when he says things at times, I'm always like, okay, Sean. But then I'll see him in a role in a performance like this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why you're Sean Penn.
And you know what? The kind of like the insufferable intellectual liberal is a big part of this story, or it's a part of it.
It is,
and that's what he's been.
The crux of the movie.
It's
that both sides are insufferable.
Right. Yeah. And they do kind of a cool job in the narrative with that. Like Leo's kind of this like. Somebody had a phrase of like the redneck hillbilly that you get like up in these north of us in Chico here. Yeah. We'll talk about the locations on this one too.
Oh, for sure.
And it's kind of like your libertarian that's like annoyed by the academic liberal, but also not with the kind of MAGA Trumper on the right. So that's kind of what Leo is. More progressive than conservative, of course. I mean, they're revolutionaries trying to overthrow a conservative government.
I can't. I'm having a hard time thinking of another film that so perfectly shows on both sides of the political spectrum when you're so radicalized,
right?
How that affects you long term. Like when you become so extreme and you've been in that life for so long, how it drastically impacts you.
Yeah.
And it's so much like when you're leaving a cult, when you're so involved with a subculture for so long, and you try to transition back to regular society, how frequently individuals, when they're transitioning out of those things, they frequently go into drug or alcohol addiction.
Sure.
And so Leo's character, of course, he is completely lost. All his identity is gone, and he's like, I've been self-medicating myself with drugs and alcohol for so long. I'm fried, man. Right. I'm fried.
And to be fair, it's usually just like pot and beer. Like it's kind of the traditional things of the Northern California.
That's fair.
Kind kind of
but obviously
vibe.
it's
but I relate to that too.
impacting him in his life.
Yeah, it
to an
does.
extent.
It does.
So obviously it's more than just recreation.
And I like you're bringing up kind of the attrition of it all. It's like when we do these things for so long, like, how does that, what do you grow into after 10, 20 years? We're 10 years now into Trump, and like there is this big attrition level of like, how do we react now versus how we felt 10 years ago, and how have we changed? How have we been jaded? How are we freaking hurting? Like, I don't know. There's this, the longevity of this kind of political rebellion or kind of what's the word I'm looking for? When you do have the power and you're implementing that power forcefully, like that shit, it's not good for the soul, man. So, okay, let's get in the film. In order to make this somewhat condensed here, since I have so many pages of notes. We kind of did this on the last Weapons podcast. I'm going to just kind of rifle through the page of notes.
Let's do it.
Tell me to stop.
Okay.
Or I'll get through the whole page and then we can circle back, maybe do one or two things. We start off with Tiana, Perfidia Beverly Hills. What a name.
Such a great name.
Call her PBH. There's a detention center under the freeway. We see Leo. Bob is at the border. We're introduced to Wood Harris's character, Laredo's, in about the first half an hour of the film. He's giving this rundown. We see Deandra and Jungle Pussy, this group of revolutionaries.
Do you know much about her?
No, but that's like her real name? Or?
Yeah, she's she is a performer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's you should check her out.
Well, she and Tiana are like, they represent like New York so much, man. Like that's what they are. They're New Yorkers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that too. We see Bob and PBH interacting for the first time. Their chemistry. She says, "This is a motherfucking revolution. Impress me." So just hot off the bat. The sexiness of a revolution cannot be understated. It's very sexy.
Yeah, it does a great job of talking about the allure of rebellion.
Oh my God.
And there's a lot to be there, and then you immediately have the flip side of it with her affair with Sean Penn.
So complicated and
so much.
I have feelings
so
about
much.
that. I mean, you even see it like the No King's March. I mean, people are meeting at those things. Like even to the smallest degree, like there's a real romance to a revolution. We have the armed infiltration of this like camp, which is no different than reality. These immigration camps. And we don't have to get too much into the details of the real world, because that's kind of a whole nother podcast, but they will come up often. PBH runs into Lockjaw for the first time. They're freeing detainees.
Lockjaw is played by Sean Penn.
Yes. She says it's a declaration of war. She mentions later, like, this is a violent revolution. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
I just rewatched Civil War also right before this, and so excuse me, thinking of this movie almost as a prequel,
nice double
or
feature.
prelude is kind of like start with this and then go into Civil War, and you're kind of like, okay,
I like that.
Pretty powerful.
The director of Civil War,
Alex Garland,
who also directed one other huge movie.
Well, he did Annihilation, Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Yeah. And he actually, I believe he was one of the writers on The Beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot of beach. Didn't expect all these beach references. Lockjaw. This is when we get into this kind of like perverted sexuality. With that which he hates. You know what I mean? Licking his lips, calling her sweet thing.
Yes, as we, go into the film and the Christmas Adventurers Club. That's what they're called, right? Christmas Adventurers Club.
CAC.
Which is like the greatest name ever. I immediately start laughing. What are your thoughts on this sexual relationship?
Sure. So that's I think we can just ask, what is this movie about?
Right.
If we step back, and to me, it's about white supremacy.
Okay. White
supremacy and power. The kind of self-hate that gets projected as the hatred of others, or the ineptitude that now gets projected onto others. So, and this is my opinion, whether it be others meaning race, meaning gender, meaning religion, meaning nationality, whatever it may be. And this is just so blatant in today's government. And it just, this exercising of power in terms of, rape, murder, or the worst, crimes imaginable by humanity done by these people with this power, the self, the sense of superiority that they carry, no matter how shallow that may be once you dig underneath it. That's what this is about. And then it's about the pain it inflicts onto others, the intentional pain, and and suffering, and it's infuriating, and I guess the more well learned you are on this stuff, this movie's a good starting point. If you're not, the more infuriating it becomes. And these battles extend to college campuses. They extend to, medical institutions, scientific institutions. Like it's a war against intelligence in a sense too, in order for white supremacists to hang on to this immense power that they have.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I do think it has a lot. It's saying a lot politically, without saying anything politically at the same time. But I also kind of feel like it's not necessarily a political argument that he's making within this. I don't think he is trying to say that. I think it's more of like we kind of talked about, but it's more of a study of what political life does to you over time, as we've talked about. And so I see it really as just from a sociological perspective, like this individual, these group of characters on both sides who are, their identity is so tied in with their beliefs. And you have an individual who has left that ideology to care for his child, right? So it's ultimately, to me, it is a father-daughter character story.
You're talking about Lockjaw or Leo?
Leo.
Okay, Bob. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely Leo.
Yeah. No, you're right. I wasn't even, thinking about that character's POV. Kind of focused on the Christmas Club.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I think from the movie is doing a lot, and I think a lot of the criticism I've seen about the movie is that it's convoluted and it can be a little bit messy at times, but I don't feel that way. I feel like PTA, he has a very clear structure, has a very clear idea of what this message is, and I think he carries it through. Yeah.
And I didn't really even answer your question. You asked about kind of Lockjaw's sexuality. I think it's often with the white supremacist type is, you'll hear a lot of black groups saying if they hate us, why are they always paying attention to us?
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, why do they, why do they really love us athletically, entertainment-wise, whatever, sexually? And so that's always kind of underneath the surface. I think it's really an intense admiration and envy or whatever, what have you.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that this movie is a satire and that the Lockjaw and Porphyria are both caricatures, essentially.
Yeah.
They are pushed to extreme. That is very clear by the dialogue, especially by a lot of the black characters within the film. It's very clearly satirically written. Right. I know that's been a big criticism. Is that and how
black women in particular?
Yes, how the black women are portrayed in the dialogue they have. And I realize that we're two cis white guys talking about that, so that's
which is good.
Yeah,
I would love to have a black woman here,
perspective on that. Yeah,
it would change the podcast entirely.
And then Regina Hall. I mean, I think she is the most criminally underrated performer.
Dude, I'm getting emotional thinking about her.
Anytime I see her in something, I'm like, oh, okay, this is elevated. She elevates everything she's in,
and just so quiet. That was one of the true on the rewatches notices of how good she is in this movie. It's just so quiet and subtle for the most part. God damn it, so good, dude.
I'm sure we'll get into it, but so the sexuality between Lockjaw and Beverly Hills is just PTA. Sexuality in his films is, he is a straight white man, and so it's definitely there's always, it is a male gaze for sure, obviously, but it's always challenging something, and I do feel like his sexuality within his films is important to the story. And obviously within this film, it's very crucial to the story. It is the one of the catalysts for the plot itself, and so it is a MacGuffin. Is their sexual relationship, as we find out by the reveal towards the end of the film.
Yeah, yeah, we can. Yeah, well, I'll just go down the list here. PBH, causes him to get an erection as he walks out. Pretty funny stuff when she says, "Get up." I think it's the first time the French 75 is mentioned. She says, "You're a political prisoner of the French 75."
Yeah.
Did you look into the history of that at all? I remember seeing that's a real term. It's like a drink or something.
Yeah, it's a drink.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm sure it has additional connotations. I did not look into that.
French Revolution, I guess.
Right.
I don't know
what that makes sense. Yeah.
Maybe
of course.
Did something happen in 1975 that was particularly significant in America? Felt like when was that?
I'm sure we're both being. Well, that was before Ford and Carter. Well, that would have been 76.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're already kind of confused now with PBH's energy toward Lockjaw, because she instantly gets back in the car with Bob and they're making out, and so she's already kind of playing.
It is obviously, this character, they are aroused, I guess, is the word. I don't know how to say that otherwise, but like by this challenge, by fighting, and maybe it is like it's arousement and excitement from challenging authority. Yeah,
and it's. At first, you wonder, she gets cornered in the bathroom. They go in to plant some bombs in a courtroom. She gets cornered by Lockjaw in the bathroom, and it's like, in that scene, it's like, oh, she's just trying to survive using her sexuality as like a ruse. Mm-hmm. But then she's like into it late. Like they go to the hotel room.
Totally into it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm confused by. Does she really like him, or is she doing this in some type of preservation, right, preservatory way?
Yeah, and that is where like the power dynamics get icky.
Yeah.
Or is it that he has this power over her, or is it that she has a power over him? Is she protecting herself in the French 75, or is it something that she's genuinely enjoying?
I think it's the former. Yeah, I mean, but man, it makes you feel really kind of gross.
Oh yeah, and which is intentional. It wants to make you feel uncomfortable, and that definitely does.
Right.
Just seeing Sean Penn walk with that haircut makes anyone uncomfortable. So,
yeah,
he's
and
also jacked in this movie too.
and for all the like valid criticisms of like how this portrays black women and stuff that we get from academic black women intellectuals, like. And, criticizing, PTA for even, is his place to do this as a director. And, he's not coming from, some, righteous, this is what I believe about X, Y, and Z. He's very intentionally...
he's telling his life stories in a lot of ways. He's been married to Maya Rudolph for quite some time. Right. So very clearly he is someone who understands how society looks at interracial relationships, and as he has lived in one for quite some time, and having biracial children. So he definitely that gaze is important. So that's why I think understanding his life story to an extent, as much as anyone does of someone like that, or if of someone like, I'm not his best friend, so I don't really know his life story, but just from outside of I agree. That's why it's a story about a father and his daughter.
Yeah.
And that is that regardless of if because Bob is not, as we find, her biological father, but that is what the movie is about to me.
And Maya Rudolph, the brilliant Maya Rudolph, is undoubtedly, Paul's at home writing this, she's there. They're constantly talking about it. She's informing probably a ton of this script, more so than anything else he's written while they've been together, I imagine. Because of the sensitivity.
I keep thinking about Phantom Thread though, too, of that, because that movie is such
that love story,
such an interesting power dynamic. That's another thing. All of his films, they have power dynamics at the forefront, and those challengings of power dynamics. And Phantom Thread is a great example, as we're talking about Beverly Hills' relationship with Lockjaw. Like that entire movie is about that. So it's very clearly intentional. He's saying something, and I'm not smart enough to articulate what it is that he's saying there. But there's something very clearly there, and it's intentional, and so I feel like there's always pushback nowadays with sex in film, especially when there's a power dynamic like that.
Correct.
But I think because of what it is within the film, because it's definitely not superfluous to the script.
It's a good point. You're younger, Gen Z-ish kind of, college grads that are opinionated and they're educated. Like they have problems with sex in film these days. I was talking to Curtis with Begonia, and like it's just like a hard line. Like I don't like it.
Oh, is that he said that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
I don't mean to put words in his mouth, but some to that effect.
No, I'm not surprised to hear that though. Yeah.
So I mean that feeds into kind of maybe some of the pushback. Towards characters or storylines.
I do want to, as we'll talk more about the other films, but Begonia I think is an important film to talk about also with this movie. But so I don't want to keep you from your list.
Bob and PBH they're bombing grids. They're hitting the electricity throughout the city. We got Lockjaw kind of spying on them.
And then we see them as they're bombing these grids immediately. Then she's wanting to engage in sex with him.
Yeah, let's fuck. It's awesome. Love that. Laredo and Mae West, our girl from Licorice Pizza from Haim.
Yep. Yeah, Mae West also just a great little character name too.
Who is that again?
Mae West was one of the first like sex icons of the film era.
They're together. It's another interracial relationship, by the way. We finally get the title sequence that comes in.
What is your like? Give me a sentence for what you think about the title. Like, what does the title mean to you?
Well, I'll answer that.
You're
almost right after the title. It's then mentioned in the dialogue. We always love when the title's actually said in the dialogue itself.
Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
From here on in, it's one battle after another. I mean, that's how I feel today in the world of Trump and pushing back against a lot of this stuff. It's never ending. Like they flood the fucking the zeitgeist, the world with so many things that it's just quite literally one battle after another. But that's the mentality you have to have in order to fight it, in order to not get fatigued, in order to not give up,
to not get burnout like Bob has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm experiencing too.
Well, and that's the thing is like it's quite a literal title if you want it to be as well. That it is literally that these are a group of revolutionaries. This battle and this fight against authoritarianism, against fascism is never ending. And but I also don't think it means endless suffering or endless war. I also think it's kind of that our life in general, regardless of involvement, is a conflict. That life is ongoing and there's always conflict within our lives, and that conflict frequently within our lives takes certain shapes, whether that is through X, Y, or Z, if it's marital strife, if it's loss of a family, grief, X, whatever it may be, which we see in this film, of course. But you make choices every day in your life on which battles you're fighting and what battles are your own personal wars within that. And so we see both a physical manifestation of actual battles, and then we see character-driven battles within this film. And so, I think that it's obviously it's more than just a literal title, but that it is an invitation to look inward and to see what are our own battles that we're fighting on a daily basis.
I think it also speaks to the generational aspect of, fighting against oppression, fighting against oppressors.
Yes.
And at the very end of the movie, with the letter kind of passing out, she's like, obviously spoiler for everything. I failed, Mom says in the letter to her daughter.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't. Like, this isn't just about our one life. This is about having children.
Totally.
And passing on these fights. And it's, the infinity of it all is like, how do you reckon with that psychologically? And you do get into weed and booze to deal with it. It's just also spot on.
Or you become a rat.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing is like the title itself. I think that I've heard from a lot of conservatives who like this is like the title itself is inciting action or violence towards, furthering this divide. But I think it's more of an observation myself. I don't think it's a threat. I think it's an observation towards what towards our life and plights in humanity.
Talking about like subtlety to the text of PTA here, though, is like he is kind of giving a little fuel to people that want to fight, or a lot of fuel, frankly. Like, this is an inspirational film for those who want to fight.
If it can be, for sure.
Yeah,
I think
felt
that's
that way today.
I think it's one of those movies where if you want to look at it as a progressive film to radicalize and encourage movement on the left, absolutely it's there. You're blind if you don't see that. At the same side, if you are a conservative, you can very clearly see, because this is a satire, you can see how ridiculous the far left can be and be perceived.
Right.
But you then have to use that same mirrored look to see how ridiculous the far right can be. And so I love this film. PTA always challenges, and I don't think that I think that you're doing a disservice if you just say that this is a pro-left film.
Right.
I think that it is more nuanced than that, and it is without a doubt a liberal-leaning, liberal ideological film, but the characters within it reflect so much more.
Yeah, and it's not really giving any kind of like sympathy for the far right in any way. There's not like a sympathetic character within the government or the on the other side.
No, then also, I mean, but both sides are shown as inept.
I see. Okay, sure.
That's more what
Gotcha.
I mean.
Gotcha.
Is that they're both spinning their tires and it seems not making real progress with their ideological goals.
Who's the most competent character in this film?
The daughter?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Actually, I don't know about that.
It's not the hitman. We
Him.
think
He
it
was
is for a minute.
He's so great. I don't know. That's a really good question. I feel like they're all, and it's part of it. I love that all the characters seem inept. I mean, the daughter is, but then we have that she is also a child, right? So I say that, I take that back because of the cell phone.
Right. PBH might be. Just for self-preservation. And we get in this conversation now where they have the baby. She's in the hotel with Lockjaw, so we see the consummation. Basically, we don't see it, but we know what happens. The baby's born, and then PBH has this, like, I don't know if you call it postpartum depression, or it's that mixed with, like the jealousy of a mother with her, this meta view of the world that she has, and her duty to be a revolutionary.
That's a very clear, like, clinical,
right.
like postpartum depression. Like, that's pretty obvious.
I don't have kids. Do you want to share any personal story? That's good.
I mean, yeah, you can. Sure. I mean, that's not my story to tell, but I mean, it's no. I mean, but I think it's not uncommon for women, and we don't obviously as a society we don't talk about it enough, especially women who are professionals.
Right.
After having a child, your identity shifts, and it's like society will then look at you that you are a woman, that you are a mom. And you feel like you're losing part of your identity and your personality if that is your perception is that you are now a mom and you're not seen as your job or the thing that your identity that you had your self-identity for, that you're now this other.
And you can replace job with ambition or like your
absolutely.
goals, like
absolutely.
Whatever your purpose.
You don't want to feel
right.
that this new change in your life is going to alter who you are fundamentally, but it does. But it also doesn't have to fundamentally change your identity for who you are. Yeah. And that is like very clearly what's going on in Beverly Hills.
And this comes to fruition with the first kid, obviously, more than any other. There's no way of knowing until you start to do it. Yeah. Speaking of parents, Leo's in PBH's parents' home, and they're saying that he's unsuitable for their daughter. We learned that she comes from like a line of revolutionaries, so I think that's the significance there. And then that's just another glimpse into kind of the white-black dynamic.
Oh, for sure.
Interracial couples and how the families, from generation before us to now feel both sides of it. Let's see here. I mentioned the newborn rivalry that mom has with the daughter. She's saying, I put myself first. Just all very, just kind of heavy stuff.
Yeah, and which is interesting, I love that too, is that we have this gender swap too, where typically, those conversations are held by the male in a relationship.
Sure.
And so seeing two black women having this type of agency over themselves, and you're having them, this movie also definitely passes the Bechdel test, so kudos on it.
Nice, yeah.
So
intentionally so.
Well, I mean, I don't know if intentionally, but more that you have complex women characters, so you're gonna have that. If you have complex character women, you're gonna pass it. But like that scene example is such a great example. Like, we're very clearly intentionally showing that all these women in these roles have agency and that they are making these decisions themselves, which makes the dynamic between her and Lockjaw so much more curious.
Yeah, we talked about who the most competent characters are. Pretty much all the women, and then the men are pretty much all.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Except Sensei. Sensei's.
Well, but yeah, I mean, I guess in a theory, we do see that Lockjaw is perceived as competent by people around him, other authority figures.
So is fucking.
So there is definitely something there as well as that. Whereas the men on the other side are generally inept.
PBH mentions a new consciousness, crumbling male ego in that argument.
Hell yeah.
We get into Lockjaw confronts Bob in the grocery store, and then we get into the bank shooting.
Yeah, what is that? He has one line in there that's so icky. Lockjaw.
It was something to do with I love black women.
Yeah, but gosh, that
horrible people. And what I like about that is, like, to me, this like political environment. And, our kind of friends and neighbors who are supporting a variety of things now, despite hypocrisy or what have you. It does come down to, like, for me now, what I'm fighting against is, like, a personality issue. It's, like, not even ideology anymore for me. I'm just like, your personality sucks, dude.
Yeah,
like, I mean, that's Lockjaw.
That's a good point. Is that, like, his personality is, like, inciting. He wants to incite him. In that the entire thing is about conflict,
or just gross.
And so,
a lot of people behind closed doors, they're fucking gross. Whether it's sexually, violently,
if your personality is conflict, is inciting conflict,
right?
Instead of unity, then you got to deal with that.
And I think that's the best way to describe the Trump administration is, like, it's just this constant incitement of something, a reaction, violence, anger, and, like.
Well, I think it's distraction. I think using incitement as distraction, as I think we have seen for quite a number of years.
But when it comes to, like, physical fruition, then now it's taking on different levels.
But what else is happening while we're looking at this minor crisis? What is actually happening? What money is being exchanged at insane rates? Right. But we've known that this has been an issue within our country and our political powers for a century plus, but we're just seeing it amplified to an extent that we've never seen at this point.
That's the only silver lining, is, like, we seem to have a little bit of a bigger vision behind the closed doors of power with this administration. I think due to ineptitude. There's all sorts of theories you could have on that, but I did want to say, Jeffrey Epstein, definitely part of the Christmas Adventurers Club.
I was for sure. I mean, like, it was very clearly, like, when that's a really good point that you bring that up.
Yeah.
Are we at that note? Is that a note you had? Okay.
No, I didn't even have that note.
Okay. All right. Well,
Jim Downey has a cool bit on Epstein with Conan too. I don't know.
Yes.
Downey, the SNL writer.
Yes. All right. Well,
who's in this movie?
I'm sure you do have a note about Christmas Adventure Club.
It comes up again.
Okay. Well, let's keep going through your list and we'll talk about it.
We're at the bank robbery and the getaway. That's Sacramento, right?
Oh yeah, they filmed like 80% of it in Sacramento.
And
I think maybe all of it. Actually,
I forget if I mentioned. Well, there's Eureka, Arcata.
Yeah.
Like, this is in our backyard,
I know,
dude.
I know.
This is, like, such a personal movie. And when you combine, like, we were joking about, relating to Leo when you walked in here, but, like, there's elements of that.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's definitely, like, a character that if you live in this area for long enough, you've seen that guy. You probably have smoked a J with him at least once.
But there's just a lot of, this is an oddly personal relationship. And I've talked about this a bit too. I was talking about it on the mountain a couple days ago. Just like how diverse, I think I look at Chico as a tiny bit of an extension of Oakland, and Oakland, I think, and Sacramento too, like some of the most diverse places in the entire country. I think just flat out statistically.
Yes.
And, like, so that's a big part of, my life.
Wait, are you saying that you think that Chico is a diverse extension of Oakland.
There are little pieces of it that come here, yes.
A very little piece because
Sure.
because Chico itself,
4% black or something like that.
exactly.
I know, but like,
but
that's,
yeah.
If you seek it out or if you're around it, then it's there. So
Well, yeah.
my point is that like, and forget Chico, but like kind of the Oaklandness of NorCal and like and the Sacramento-ness of it, like we're just very, interracial relationships are very normal to us compared to other people. There's things like that like also help with this movie being relatable. So.
Yes, no, I agree. But I had to challenge you
For sure.
Gonna say, like,
That's fine.
Chico is so
Take
white.
a challenge.
I think when I first met my wife, she told me she was from here. Yeah. I looked it up. I'm a Southern boy, of course, and so when the South, where I grew up was quite diverse, and so when my wife told me she's from here, I looked it up, the demographics, and I was shocked that it was 96% white.
Yeah.
Is what the census had said for 2010 or whatever, and I was like, oh wow, okay, that is white. And then once I move here and know people from here, the dynamics make a lot more sense.
But we're now blue thanks to Prop 50 in our hard political work. Okay.
Hey, it's the people's right; they voted for it, so at least there's democracy in action. I hate gerrymandering. I think it is a bane in our society. But if the people vote for that, then that is their right.
Well, and on that note, that's also for a different podcast. But fighting fire with fire, not like just being taking the upper ground or high road all the time.
Taking the high road,
it's like,
yes.
Nah, you kind of got to get fucking low sometimes. And like that's what that signifies, and that's what is obviously happening in this movie in the very
very clearly, yeah.
I'll match you. Oh, you're gonna kind of take the low road with your wealth and influence, like.
Yeah,
I'll take the low road directly with these guns.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, we covered whether or not she was actually in love with Lockjaw, if she's just kind of self-preserving. She's we got PBH. Well, PBH is caught. The department celebrates. It shows her kind of her infamy within the department.
Oh, I did love that. I really love that sequence.
Yeah. I mean, this is a sequence. The sequences in this film are all
I mean that the oneer, not the actual oneer, but the tracking oneers of the gang then being caught after her ratting on them is so great. Like when Mae West getting shot, leaving the grocery store kind of shot, like that's so great.
And yeah, forgive me, we're not gonna be able to catch everything in this film, so I'm skipping over a little bit here.
The podcast. I think you usually have your podcast as long as the movie, but this time might be the first because it's 3 hours long. So yeah.
No, we'll get it under 2. Okay, so PBH, basically goes into witness protection, develops an alias, moves to El Paso, also where I was stationed.
It was El Paso.
Yeah, I was stationed in the Army there too. So just another weird kind of thing I related to in this movie. So she's there now. She has there's kind of a voiceover quote of hers, and there's some sparse voiceover in this film, which I don't mind voiceover. I kind of like it. Some people are really against it. As a filmmaker, you might be. Usually, filmmakers are against it. Writers. Do you feel a certain way about voiceover, just as a creative?
I think if VO, no. I think at times I really hate it. Like the original. The first thing I always think of is Blade Runner, the original theatrical release of Blade Runner that had a VO. I think when I'm trying to articulate. So VO when it is not the director's vision, when it is like they're being told to cut down something and then they have to then use VO for exposition dump.
Sure,
I hate that.
Sure,
but if you're using VO where it's interwoven through sequences like it was in this film, I love it. It's totally fine.
And when I think of like high quality VO, Goodfellas is what comes to mind first.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a good plot device when it's used properly.
And then Scorsese famously, like, pretty much PTA's like primary influence. Boogie Nights very very Scorsese influenced. So I don't know. Maybe he's taking the good from Scorsese there with some of this VO. But anyways, PBH says every revolution begins fighting demons, but motherfuckers just end up fighting themselves.
Do you mean fighting semen demons?
but motherfuckers just end up fighting themselves. So that's something you got to avoid as a revolutionary. Just end up fighting yourself instead of the demons that you originally were going after. Just a note.
Yeah.
Soft note.
It's a great line.
Yeah.
I do believe that's one of those lines that people have been like, that's a caricature line, and it's like, yeah, it's meant to be. It's very clearly meant to be that way.
Right. We got some. You mentioned our girl Alana Haim getting popped coming out of the grocery store. There's some lockjaw murders, gas mask shootout. I almost forget this scene. Vigilante group. Lockjaw gets the Medal of Honor.
Oh yeah,
that imitates life. Big time. We see that constantly.
And so that was that Medal of Honor winner. The name of that, I can't remember, but that's a very funny joke considering who that character was. That it was. I believe he.
It was named after somebody.
Yeah,
I missed that.
Actually, keep
yeah,
going.
I can go. In that Medal of Honor speech, they mentioned like vigilante group. We saw this yesterday from Vance and Trump and Nome, like demonizing this woman that ICE killed, like calling her a radical leftist or domestic terrorist, just throwing out these terms that justify their illegal violent actions as a government or power structure. Vigilante group is the phrase used here. Lockjaw grabs a battering ram to break into PBH's house. This just kind of signifies the power he has over her, the control he has over her, even though she's in witness protection, and how she can basically never get rid of this guy, even though she has fled their child. She leaves a note, "This pussy don't pop for you," as she's gone from her home.
Yeah, that is the line. Mexico. That is the line that so many people
like that one.
Have
very New York,
very very strong feelings towards.
And then this is a good point to kind of pause here. So PBH flees to Mexico.
Oh yeah. So sorry. I think Bedford Forrest. It's the Bedford Forrest Medal of Honor.
Oh, Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Yes, exactly.
Forrest Gump fame.
Well, do you know who Nathan Bedford Forrest was?
Yes, the real person.
Yes, the real person. Yeah. So when you're naming your Confederate,
right?
You're naming your which very clearly makes it that this is an alternate reality where perhaps the CSA won.
But then we have Ole Miss playing last night. Like the Confederacy's still around, representative in government or.
Oh yeah, I mean in this film, I'm more what I'm saying.
You're wanting alternate.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is it like what? Like so obviously something has happened where this is like we've.
Oh.
So like, what is that saying, right?
You know what's funny? And Adam Scott was the guy I thought of at the very beginning with the Romeo and Juliet conversation with Leo and Titanic.
Yes, you're right. That was Adam Scott.
Adam Scott. So me and Amy and I did the podcast on Severance.
Yeah, that's right.
On this podcast right here. And that's a big kind of question mark in Severance. Mm-hmm. Is this a world as if the Confederacy had won? Is that not what Civil War is about too? Did the Confederacy win in that movie?
No.
Okay.
That movie is very clearly like modern. That there is something. Doesn't say what it is. Something modern has happened. And it's very clearly like meant to be something within our current society that's gone, where it's a near future. So, but it's more of like that is like what happened that to name it the Bedford Forrest Medal of Honor, like what happened within our society in the past.
We've seen here that can just take one administration to fucking rewrite everything.
That's very true, and I think we always have that power. But to have someone who was such a leader of the CSA and was involved with the Klan, was the Grand Wizard of the Klan during Reconstruction, clearly that obviously he's making a statement there. But what in the novel, I guess, was that the backstory,
right,
and led us to this point.
Just like Donald Trump's dad, heavily involved in the Klan. Okay. We're at 16 years later. We're at 55 minutes. Do you want to take a break for anything? You need
No, I'm great.
Okay. So we got Willa practicing her. I didn't look up what style of martial arts this was.
I didn't
Some
either.
Japanese was spoke. I don't know if it's karate or not. And we get Sergio, the instructor, the sensei, finally, Benicio.
We didn't talk about Benicio, yeah.
Well, yeah, he's just arriving.
He's just arriving.
Favorite Benicio performance? Are you a big fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Who isn't?
You know, it's funny you say that, and immediately the first thing that came, mainly because of this movie, his character is Fear and Loathing.
Okay.
So
mine, I think, came out the same year as Traffic.
Oh.
That movie.
Traffic came out.
Soderbergh in 2000, and I think Fear and Loathing.
I think Fear and Loathing was maybe a couple years before. But yeah. But so, no, but like, I'm like, mainly because of the road trip aspect of it. Maybe that's what you said that movie immediately came to my mind.
Also, a film based off of a eccentric, incredible author, Hunter S. Thompson.
Yes.
I think most of us, or a lot of us, were introduced to Benicio in Usual Suspects.
Yes, Usual Suspects. But I mean, Fear and Loathing was a big introduction for a lot of people with him. But Sicario, I think, is another incredible film performance that he gave in that movie.
Haven't seen it.
Oh wow, you would genuinely really like it. I think if you do a double feature of Traffic in Sicario, you'd be in for it.
Well, that's my thing. I get weird sometimes where I'm like, this kind of just feels like, I know it's not Traffic, but it's a little adjacent to where like, what new am I going to see in this?
You're going to see a lot.
Okay,
you're going to see a lot of new in that movie. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, Traffic was the big. Traffic was like a big movie for me. It was
Soderbergh
nominated
as well,
and stuff.
right?
Yeah, Soderbergh.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of. I don't know if it's aged super well.
I think it has.
Okay.
Yeah. Soderbergh had he's such an interesting director. But yeah, Benicio.
Still doing it.
Anytime Benicio is in something, it's going to be good. He's such a great. I actually even liked him in the Phoenician Scheme last year.
Well, I was going to say, so he's coming off that. He's done a couple. I think he did French Dispatch with Wes Anderson too.
Yeah, he was in that. Yes, he was. Yeah.
So another guy like Leo that just kind of sticks with the great directors. He's a really sought after actor at this point in his career.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's a story of they're basically waiting for him. I think they put production on hold for a month or two while he finished up Phoenician Scheme, and then he comes into the writer's room and he like changes the whole character.
Yeah, he's like I don't know how I'm gonna do this, like how I'm gonna be this character.
He added all sorts of kind of like justifications for the character's actions and things like that. But to PTA's credit, and Leo kind of fawns over Benicio in interviews too.
Do you wanna guess what the Benicio's known for? The top 4 on IMDb are.
It's got to be Usual Suspects, Fear and Loathing.
Not Fear and Loathing.
No.
Yeah.
What are they?
We've talked about 3 of them. We've already talked.
Phoenician Scheme, French Dispatch.
No.
Traffic. Sicario.
Yeah.
What's the 4th?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
I know. Yeah, I never would I have gone through that list.
Nice paycheck for him.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's move along here. We find out Bob is addicted to weed. We know that. He's having this discussion with Will's teacher. That's a cool little piece of dialogue there.
Oh man, yeah.
A history class. I hope you're teaching the right kind of history. Slave owners everywhere. This became more of a cultural conversation last decade or so. We're taking down Confederate statues, and now, like I mentioned, kind of college campuses and academia, battling with conservative.
How do you feel about taking down Confederate statues?
I think it's right. Part of teaching history is curating history, is injecting a morality and ethic into history. Like, you learn it all, and that's the point of this conversation here. I hope you're teaching, the kids about what do you say, the Philippines or something like that. So yes, you learn it all, but a statue is like, what are we doing?
What does that plaque
we're
say?
Idolizing?
I think it's more important to me not necessarily the statue, but what does the plaque say?
Sure. And also, like, I don't really give a shit about statues. All these issues where, like, the Cracker Barrel logo, like, that just come to the forefront.
Yeah, exactly.
And statues are more important than that, but, like, that we just, I don't know.
I know a lot of,
it's prioritized.
A lot of historians have different feelings about, tearing down statues that represent troubling and very problematic figures within our past, and it's more about framing and understanding their place within history. And so I think it's really, like, so that's a very interesting conversation around that. But yeah, frankly, you brought it up, yeah.
You know what I said? Fuck statues in general. What are we doing? Like, let's not idolize anybody. There's the Lincoln Memorial. It's pretty fucking cool.
Supposedly a Christian society, we should not have any statues. We shouldn't be idolizing anything.
That's at Lincoln Memorial. Pretty sick.
It is pretty sick.
I went there this summer, and I don't think I've told this story publicly yet. I was reading the Declaration. I'm just by myself, right? I'm on a trip around the East Coast a little bit. And, dude, I lost it. Just full-on ugly crying by myself reading this at the Lincoln Memorial.
Wow. That's
and, like,
powerful.
this woman came up to me, like a couple people were like, are you okay? And it was just like, didn't expect that to happen, but, like, I guess that speaks to maybe the power of statues and memorials and like their importance in a way, and what the plaque says, what the writing on the wall says. Like, so maybe it's not as easy as just ban all or
right. And the amount of mushrooms you had right before too.
So so yeah, okay. Back to slave owners.
So Bedford Forest met all of them.
Bob, he's vaping and he starts crying in the meeting, tears of joy. He says it's funny. The narrative from
so he let the teacher know that her mother had passed. So presumably this was not something that they discussed like normally.
Right.
Which you would think would be something that people were more aware about.
Well, teacher-parent relationships aren't necessarily.
But
how much do you pry?
This teacher-student, apparently, since she's such a good student, you think that maybe she would have.
Right.
That would have been something to come up more often. Like they would be know about.
Yeah, and that kind of story that's told to the daughter comes back.
Oh yes,
quite a few times. We're back to our camps being shown. I consider them to be concentration camps, just like the modern ones. The Deputy Director of Progress. I just pointed out the funny title. We're going to have those funny titles. We're introduced to the Find the Christmas Club. You want to save the planet, you start with immigration. Sounds familiar.
Okay, so Christmas Adventures Club.
Yes.
All right, so you had joked that it was Epstein, like Epstein behind the club. Which, excuse me, it very clearly is meant to be a Illuminati, Pizzagate, any number of modern conspiracy theories put into this one thing, right?
Christian as well.
Christian for sure. It
white
is
Christian.
Very yes. Christmas
Obviously.
so white.
Obviously.
Hashtag Christmas so white. And this introduction to it that we see
hashtag War on Christmas.
Hashtag War on Christmas. We see him, our new hitman, arriving to White Flight. Suburbia.
Tim, I think is his name.
Yeah, Tim arriving to this McMansion, right?
Right. With the private bunker, secret bunker.
With the incredible, which is probably the most impressive secret bunker I've ever seen.
From a film production standpoint,
in a house,
set design standpoint.
Well, that was really. I mean, obviously that was a totally different location, but
okay.
But yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, this is a fun world that these guys are in. Like that was a great secret bunker attached to a house. Don't we all want that?
It's also realistic to me, all these scenes. Like what he says, like we got to find the dangerous lunatics, haters, and punk trash. Like
the dialogue is preposterous, but intentionally so.
It reflects reality to a
T.
Yeah,
to an extent it does, and so it is a satire, obviously. But you're right. How much of it?
It's not anymore.
Yes, I know. You're right.
Belabor that point, but
no, you're right. It is very on the tee. But that's what I mean by it's so on the nose. Mm-hmm. Consistently, the movie's so on the nose that it just pushes that satire so much.
That is a big narrative in like the comedic world. Is like Trump killed comedy, killed satire. It's like, and I mentioned Conan a minute ago. Like he has a good monologue on this. I think he just spoke at Oxford. And he talks about it, and it's like when the shit's so wild and extreme in reality, it's like where does comedy even go from there? You need you need kind of straight men leading in charge. Mm-hmm. But then we get into like, well, do we really want a straight man in charge when we know that what's going on behind closed doors isn't straight? It's like, do you almost just want to see it?
That's very true.
I think you kind of do.
I think that's why it's a satire like this film works, is that it is because it's challenging so many themes and so many conversations that you can deliver this type of satirical dialogue, and the absurdism of this actual world then grounds it, that it works as a great mirror. Mm-hmm. A great satirical mirror to our society.
They mentioned superiority in this Christmas meeting. It means you are a superior man. They're like inducting Lockjaw. They're questioning basically as an inductee to their group. You shall never want of riches. So wealth and superiority we get. Looking for like-minded men and women dedicated to making the planet safe and pure. Pure, obviously a coded word.
I think they say men and women, yet we don't see a single woman
right.
with the Christmas Adventure Club.
Do you submit yourself is one of the lines they say.
Yeah.
So this concept of submission, I just posted something on this the other day where it's like this type of man, right? The white supremacist type. like they ultimately want to be submissive, whether it's to their god, their dogma, their deity, their corporate boss. Like there's a lot of like, tell me what to do, daddy. It's like it's kind of a biting criticism I think I'm seeing from the left now. Is like what's driving this kind of common Trump voter, and a way to kind of talk shit to them is like you want to be submissive. You want leaders to tell you what to do, and like us over on the left are kind of theoretically the opposite. Revolutionaries from the ground up type of thing. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean,
again, I guess you could. Whoever's not in power, I guess, might make that claim.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, famously, liberals, we've always wanted more government. So obviously, it's not fair.
More good government.
More good government.
They
yes.
want the bad government. We want the good government.
I mean, historically, conservatives want less government, and so it is fascinating.
Not anymore.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Right.
The new conservative movement of the early 80s, we've obviously have seen the rise of big government movement within conservatives, but then there's still a push that they want the same thing, where they want less of the bad government that we're saying, and then the liberals want the opposite, where they want less of that.
To be clear, I think it's the big government they want is military and police, and that's about it. Immigration, like it's policing type institutions.
Well, big government also against social issues, so abortion and other trans and queer and civil rights government influence as well. So
right, I guess I mean like the big government that the right wants is usually like
I was adding those to that big government that they
and the
want.
big government that the left wants is traditionally like healthcare and education, things that kind of like build up communities. Like that's the idea.
And then protection of those things we just listed as well, of civil rights and queer rights.
I don't know if I passed this already, but abortion is mentioned. PBH, in one of the VO sequences, she mentions like she's kind of listing a little bit of like the things that she's attacking. Yeah, and she's like she's like threatening to bomb a senator on the phone, or and like your stance making abortion illegal. Like that's why I'm doing this.
Right.
And again, reflecting reality to a T. Virgil and Sandy are the names of our Christmas Club guys. Tony Goldwyn, the leader.
I love him.
He plays this. He's good. He's good at this role.
He's always so good in the smarmy, the smarmy
Smarmy
executive
king,
role.
Smarmy goat.
He's so great in it. He just looks so at ease too, playing that character.
I think a really good guy in real life, though, from what I
can't imagine a guy who plays that many villains would not be a good guy.
Also, famous interracial relationship on TV. He was the president in that show with Kerry Washington.
Scandal? Is that what that one was?
I never watched
it either, but yeah, I forgot. I didn't realize he was in it.
I feel like PTA, all that stuff goes into his casting, like who this person's played in the past and how that.
Oh yeah, they have a unique vision or understanding to that character for sure. Yeah.
The Davos crowd, Davos getting a name drop.
Oh yeah, Davos. Yeah, that makes sense.
Openly racist bell curve Nazis. Bell curve Nazis is great. Capitalist overlords. These are some phrases coming from, I forget if they came from Bob or PBH. We get underground radio. We're at the underground radio. We get a big arrest there. We got our runners, our kid runners that are kind of reporting. There's this whole underground radio coded communication network going on,
which was great. That was really fun. That was really cool. Yeah. How that was all done.
I mean, it's a huge part of the movie. It's one of the coolest aspects to this movie is the coded kind of network, underground network. Billy Goat is in the wind. I think I start writing down a little more quotes. So many good quotes from this movie.
There's too many to.
The Gringo Coyote.
Coyote was really great. I loved that one.
Howard Somerville is his name. He seems to be one of the top guys that mans the radio station. A podcaster, if you will. Not really. Searching for baby Charlene. I think this is what they call Wilma. And the Rocket Man. And I'm just going to be listing off some stuff here, which is not bad because we got to get through some stuff. Officer Shakedown, the Bacton Cross. We get some really cool
the Bacton
names
Cross. Yeah,
of
those
locations.
are great. Yeah, all of that was fun.
Would have loved to look into those names a little more, which I didn't. Amy's good at that stuff. Operation Boot Heel.
Operation Boot Heel.
We have our helicopter squad now and we'll get into we're kind of learning what's going on here with Lockjaw and this little squad of soldiers on the lookout now. We can just state it. He's basically like he's cleaning up his biracial past.
I think we're
that will
skipping over a lot of plot points through here, but give us the rundown.
That will get him kicked out of this Christmas Adventurers Club. And this,
which again is why important for us to have seen this sexual relationship with Beverly Hills, and so we have, which I think is really interesting, is that we have that they've raided the house. Bob has fled the house. He's then ends up with Sensei. But I love we haven't talked about it, but the sequence when he calls them and he can't remember the codes.
Yeah, we're getting.
Oh, I thought we were already there.
No,
sorry.
we're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. The chicken licking frozen food something.
Oh yeah.
Great nuggets. Well, I wrote that down because it's like one of the spots they're like raiding to find people.
Yeah, they're raiding to find illegals.
Is that where he's charging his phone? Where there's like a bunch of different items in that store that's run by Benicio's?
No, I think they show it in one of like the montage sequences of an actual like warehouse that they go to.
They call it a heroin supply center or something, which notable, just the go-to, like all this stuff happening now.
Oh yeah,
like, blame it on drugs.
Just blame it on drugs.
Blame it on drugs.
Yeah, it's war. It's the weapons of mass destruction. Yeah,
sanctuary cities are mentioned. It's a sanctuary city for thousands of wet bodies. They use the wetback term loosely here in this film on the military side. Just wet is just incorporated in different phrases.
It's in the way they said it multiple times, and each time it was more disgusting than the last. Like how they used it.
So now we're just at the point now where Lockjaw's out looking for Bob and Willa. We see them at home for the first time.
Yeah.
Dad's hungover. Daughter's mad at him. She's kind of got to play mom a little bit, that whole story. Single dad with a revolutionary daughter. I know how to drink and drive, baby. It's a funny line.
Yeah, again, like it's one of the most pro drinking and driving films I've ever seen in our modern era.
Wait, say that again.
Pro drinking and driving films.
Film. Oh, I thought you said town.
No.
Here in Chico. Okay, no. Okay. There's this really funny kind of the progressive dad moment where, us progressives were kind of known for like, accept all things coming from your children.
Gentle parenting.
Yes. Don't get mad. Just talk about it. Obviously there's no like spanking or anything, but there's not even like a yelling or kind of fighting. And so even if the kid like just insults the hell out of you, you still got to be like, I like the way you stand up for yourself. I just got a kick out of that.
Yeah, I mean, but he also deserved that. So,
friends pull up and he's questioning like, are they them?
Yeah, that whole interaction was so fun. which is so great is that I love that it shows that great disconnect that we see, generational disconnect from progressives from one generation to the next, where he was seen as this great revolutionary in his previous generation, but now he's like unwilling to even keep up with the proper way to communicate with people, and is unwilling to so the rigidity that we see from generation to generation of their beliefs, which I think is crucial in this film. And
I don't know if you want to call his interaction with Bluto like a conservative parent, where he pulls the kid aside and said, if
very conservative. It's very conservative. Yeah,
so that's that kind of redneck hippie.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there. Yeah, and I love that. That was the first time I was like, okay, this is this character. I'm seeing that this another layer of depth here with who he is.
Yeah, Leo brings as much comedy as possible to this. He's talking about, this obviously, Latino. The Latino population is kind of the center of this script in a lot of ways, and immigration, illegal or otherwise, and protecting those people, freeing them from capture and violence. Leo talks about, there's an interview he did where he's talking about like working with local Mexican like farmers on his property or something like that. Somebody asked him like how he knew the whistle that he gives later, like Mexican whistle, and he spits, and then that moment with his daughter's friends, there's some kind of Latino vernacular he throws out there.
Oh, totally.
It's really entertaining. But Leo's a pretty well cultured guy. Famously grew up on hip hop, kind of a big hip hop head, and he keeps in touch with the black and brown community.
Yeah, I mean, and also he is, a guy who's been associated with some not great things in his life.
How dare you? How dare you besmirch his name on this podcast?
I'm just saying he has been associated with some not great things.
Yeah,
and some of his behavior when he was younger and his continuous behavior with women that he's involved with is something that definitely should be mentioned when we're talking about this film.
Yeah, the fact Chase Infinity is 25 years old during the shooting of this filming, we're all kind of thinking it. Anyways, I don't want to go that route. What the complicated thing with Leo nowadays is like him rubbing shoulders with the Bezoses on the yachts.
That's what I'm saying.
And investing in like a hotel in Israel or something.
It is, you have complex. A movie that's talking about the elite and challenging those in power, and it's important to, I think, got to do with proper service and talk about. He's also a member of the elite, so whose story is he representing?
It's a tough one. He
was flying a private jet to go to.
But then he's also famously one of the biggest environmental advocates on planet Earth.
Exactly. So I mean, he is himself as a hypocrite in a lot of his inactions, and we have to say that. And I love him, and I think he's one of the great. He's one of the best actors and people, and probably one of the best activists. But definitely is someone who has
well, that's
questionable behavior in the past that should be discussed.
There's an infiltration of if you are a progressive. Right. With strong ideologies and that you want to implement onto the world that you think are good and just. You do want to befriend the richest guys in the world. So you
for
can
sure.
Exert
well,
that
he
influence.
is also one of those people.
Well, he's not.
Not
tech rich.
But is he not?
Not well. It's I mean
I mean
in a sense we can only speak on what we know, so there's only so far we can take this combo. But I actually really like that combo and the complexities of
I do too.
The modern rich progressive.
Exactly, and I think that's an important conversation to have within the confines of this movie.
And it does add a little bit to the movie, for sure. What up, homie? You cool? I love that. He's forcing his daughter to take the walkie-talkie. She lies about not having a cell phone. Quinoa casseroles in the oven, Yo, not USA. Sorry, I just love all that stuff.
Yeah, those are all great.
DeAndre. Okay, so now we're at the school dance. DeAndre. Or Deandra, rather. Shows up in the bathroom. We got the Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction code speak. And we learn that that's the code that allows Willa to trust a stranger that approaches her in such a situation. Mm-hmm. Everyone's very prepared.
Except for Bob.
Right. But black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. This is her response to this code of trust. Mm-hmm. Police come in and shut down the dance. Also just felt very real and modern. Bob gets his phone call. We have trouble ahead and the road isn't clear. This is when he forgets the codes, of course. Always funny. And it gets we get even some funnier stuff.
What is it? What time does what does the hand on the clock say? What is the...
Something what time is it or something like that. When we get the answer later, it's hilarious. Willa's secured, Lockjaw's coming, and then Howard Somerville has been taken. This is kind of the information's being spread amongst the French 75. Mm-hmm. Where's the rendezvous point is the big question here now that takes us along the story. The squad raids his home, Bob and Willa's home up in Arcadia, Eureka area. He has that super cool tunnel escape.
Super cool.
With the hollowed out tree as shield. Almost gets gassed. He grabs his sunglasses and his flannel robe, which I wish I would have worn to the pod.
There you go.
Today.
Just keep rocking. Are those a pair of Woodsies?
They are.
Yeah. Nice.
R.I.P. next door. Confused code speak. Can't change the rules, man. Got to stick to the rules. What time is it? Yeah, that was the question. To the rebellion text. Forget that. You fucking liberal prick. So that's when we finally get a little bit of Bob. It's not like he's just in love with liberals. We get to the dojo finally with Sensei.
Get off the mat.
Right. We're in the getaway car. Sensei Benicio says, "You're a bad hombre, Bob," which he uses again. It's like he's basically telling him like, when I use that phrase again, it's gonna matter. And there's that happening too. Like even when they're in private, there's still kind of an undercover communication happening. They're just used to, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and it was interesting seeing very clearly that So are we now at where we get into Bob's, or not Bob's, but Sensei's home? And
we're right up at that. We have Agent Danvers is now questioning Willa's friends.
Right. Okay.
I just wrote down the Johnny Greenwood score.
Oh, it's so great.
This
so
is when
great.
He's got kind of the dancing piano keys.
All of his scores throughout PTA films are incredible. Phantom Thread also is like a beautiful one.
So PTA, this is really cool, which I'm sure you can appreciate as a filmmaker. He had the score kind of ready, even when he was like writing it. Which, generally speaking, score is something you can even implement after you've shot and edited, even, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. He had it, so like.
I mean,
when they were like reading the script, he
Yeah.
had like, and I think Scorsese did this with Goodfellas too. He like wrote in like Cream, the song.
Oh
like,
yeah.
during that De Niro
I mean,
bar.
that's not uncommon, especially if you have money and you can be like, oh, I know I can get these songs, I can get these things. And if you're someone like PTA who works with a composer regularly, like, okay, here's the notes, I know what I want to hear, like this is what I want to see, your version of this kind of thing. And like that's not uncommon. I know Josh, when we did the Fuzzies, we were doing that. We had all of our music cues in the script. They were like, hey, so we would put like, okay, there's this Cure song for us, this is the song cue that we kind of want, so when we're composing alongside, this is the kind of notes that we want to hit it, because Josh composed all the music.
So I was going to ask you about that. Even like the little short script I wrote, I interspersed kind of the music for the scenes throughout it, and honestly, it just helped me.
Yeah, it helps.
I mean?
It helps you. It helps a reader too, who's reading the script
Right.
to make it come alive. Yeah, you don't have to do it. I know some people discourage that from happening with scripts, but if it's something that's really like internal, then it's really great to have.
Look, I just get Greenwood on the phone. I say, send me about 8 original songs to help me write the script.
I just call Nick Cave up and I'm like, hey man, can you just like bang this out for me real quick?
Train Dreams is his new score?
Nick Cave did that?
That
makes sense.
So.
That would make sense. That's a very him movie to do.
It's going to be one of the movies we do on the pod.
Great.
But I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet either.
Yeah. Okay, we got Agent Danvers. Good character in this film. The Colonel. It's like the interrogator.
Oh, he's great.
He's really
good.
Very realistic.
And I love a lot of these. I kept wanting to look up some of these character actors like him. Like, were they locals? Like who? Like, because he's a guy I haven't really seen much. And so I was really like, oh, he was great. And there's a lot of, groundedness to a lot of these performances that I love, which is very common in his films too.
So I think in my interview with Leo and PTA, he says, yes, a lot of these people were local.
Yeah, I believe
100%.
it, yeah.
There was one, I think the ones where I noticed they were local were the nurses that help him escape the hospital. Like those for sure seem like locals.
Yeah, for sure. Which it makes it feel such more of a real world and so grounded, and I love it.
What is that thing where you can just like tell that somebody's not an actor just by like the first split second you see them on screen? What is that? Like when someone is.
You know when someone is. Well, they also weren't. It didn't feel like they were acting as well, and I feel like so many of like overly trained actors you see the seams of what they're doing, and so they're acting, and they felt like they were just delivering lines. And so it didn't. Right. So it felt like they were just being themselves, which is a great form of acting, obviously. But then they were delivering the lines and weren't putting emphasis in certain areas, and they weren't acting it. So there's
too realistic.
There's too.
It's too much like regular life.
There is a phrase that I cannot think of right now that explains exactly this one. I'm sure if anyone listens to this, you're going to be yelling at. But yeah, I mean, there's also like, and if they are trying to act, they're obviously clearly pushing themselves to deliver a line, which you definitely get a couple times with some of those local actors in this film, but still works.
Because
it's such forced dialogue that they're delivering, that lack of acting
spontaneity
experience really kind of helps that language.
Leo said that them incorporating locals like really helped the film, or like it helped him.
Totally. If he's acting against someone he's did a movie with 15 years ago, then it's gonna help. It's gonna take you out of it. Whereas if you're like in it, like I'm in it, like what world am I in right now? I'm living in this world. I'm surrounded by it. It really helps as a performer.
Willow's with Deandra in the car. Deandra tells Willow that her mom was killed. So we're still kind of uncertain about, or Willow's uncertain about the reality of her mom. We got all the riots in the streets, and we get like the nighttime skateboarders. It's World War III out there, which some of us feel today in a way. There's kids sleeping on mats, Hispanic kids and families sleeping on mats upstairs from that store that I mentioned that Sensei seems...
So we're entering Sensei's like empire.
Yeah,
and
right.
Clearly he is a revolutionary
True.
in his own way, but not involved in Front 75. But clearly he knows of Front 75, as we find out by learning who Bob is. So he is his own entity and isn't doing this under. He referred to himself as an underground. Didn't he? Kind of like he had his own underground railroad. It seemed like.
Yeah, I mean,
it was incredible. I wanted more of like that world.
That could
Bob's,
be that's
like,
a whole
gold
movie.
Spin-off movie. I want that. Yeah.
Yeah, very influential, powerful man. You can tell that's
absolutely
benevolent, working for.
But
good.
he's also like, Bob is like so aloof to this world that he's entering. He's so driven by just finding his daughter, getting his phone charged, which is also just a hilarious beat. If you're not there, Bob, keep moving, Bob, keep moving, Bob, as we're going deeper into this empire that Sensei has. But he is so oblivious to take a second and be like, where am I? Like, who are you, actually? I thought you just ran the dojo in town with my daughter.
The realism of it all. I mean, just such good filmmaking and acting, and like
the cinematography is so perfect. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we're in the apartment. Bob continued trying to find the rendezvous point over the phone. He's not very happy with the guy he's talking to.
Not at all.
Mentioned he's fried his brain. He calls in a Greyhawk 10.
Greyhawk, that's right.
There's this shot of him where he's like, he just screams out life. Do you remember this scene with Leo in this moment? Just like looks at it, he's like, life! I don't know, it's fucking
his
hilarious.
manic behavior is so great.
He finally gets Talleyrand on the phone. I think these are like Pinchonian names too, by the way. Pinchon's big on
definitely
names. He has to answer the old Mexican hairless question, which he finally gets right. Doesn't forget that. We're introduced to the Sisters of the Brave Beaver.
Brave Beaver. That's such a great...
I'm just listing off titles.
Yeah, just listing. Yeah, and all that sequence is that's all so beautiful too. And I think you really... And so this is now where we're getting... Once we start leaving the city and we're going into the hills, because it is shot on VistaVision. They're on 35 millimeter VistaVision, which gives so much of this world that we're seeing, and it helps give so much of the realism that we're seeing too. And yeah, it's just beautiful.
Comrade Josh being the name of the guy that he's arguing with is just so funny to me for some reason.
Begonia also shot on VistaVision.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shout out Giovanni Ribisi.
That's right.
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back.
He's in a new... Gus Van Sant movie. Chupacabra Hills.
Chupacabra
Hills.
Hills.
The hits keep coming.
Yeah.
The question is, or the answer was that to what time is it? Is time doesn't exist yet. It controls us anyway. Very annoying liberal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
response.
Totally. Yeah, and I love that reveal of the guy who he was talking with. It seems like that.
Yeah.
When people make caricatures of modern progressive liberals, it looks
the guy was just doing his job, though.
He's doing his job.
What are we mad at here?
Yeah. It's Bob's fault.
Right. This is the skateboarder on the roof scene, the kind of silhouettes, just one of the most beautiful shots in the movie.
That was so cool. All of that sequence so great. Which, I mean, it says so much about the scale of this movie. Like, this is a $150 million movie. Like, it shows. And it's like, sure, you have an incredible cast and like cost an incredible amount of money, but so much of it is on the screen. And like, so all of those sequences through Sacramento, on those rooftops is so beautiful. I loved all of that.
Oh, is that Sac too?
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. Sean Finnessy from The Ringer, he's a big film guy over in the Ringer Podcast Network. He talked about this movie being an anomaly, like in the board meeting and like in the boardroom rather, where like PTA is pitching it to the studio to get it paid for with this pretty exorbitant amount of money for a film like this.
For one of his movies, absolutely. Yeah.
And like he's like, Finnessy was like, I'm not mad at this movie like not making its money back.
You don't give Paul Thomas Anderson that
Right.
much money. You know you're not going to make any money back. You're
Right.
going to get a lot of Oscar nominations. You're going
Right.
to get a lot of. It's going to live on for a very long time, and so you will definitely make your money off of it.
Right.
But it's going to take time, actually, and that makes me want to look up the final box office. I don't think it did
Right.
2x even.
Also, a Warner Brothers film worth noting now that they're in the middle of being purchased.
Yeah, so it did about 205 million. Worldwide.
Yeah,
For
okay.
it was a 130.
Right.
So the rule of thumb is you do 2.5 your
Right.
budget at box office.
But for a film like this to
no,
clear
for sure.
two-
So it will, and it's going to get re-released in IMAX too. I think after nominations, so it'll do well there again once it comes back, and I'm sure it did well for Warner for HBO. So.
Right. I guess what I was trying to get at with what Finney said, he was like something about how like I'm not worried about this like preventing movies like this being made in the future. Like they kind of aren't going to be anyways at this scale. Like
Right.
PTA just like caught this weird moment.
Well, I mean, you get Leo attached, and it's
Yeah.
like he's like when you have someone like that attached
Yeah.
to that name draw worldwide, you're gonna get butts in seats, and yeah, I mean, it's a high concept film that you're not gonna that it doesn't. I'm surprised it performed as well as it did overseas. Actually,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is.
Well, I mean, I think there's an audience for a lot of Europeans, especially,
Yeah.
or like Canadians, like.
But
give me
Chinese
this
markets
fucking-
and Asian markets, which are usually like bigger for these types of films. If you're having a budget that size, those are markets that you usually have to be able to capture.
Was this? This wasn't shown in China. I remember.
I believe it was.
China allowed this movie?
I
to be
believe
shown?
so.
Wow. Not that we're that much better these days. Viva la Revolución. We hear that for the first time.
Yes. Oh yeah. In the hallway with thank you, Sensei.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Sensei.
yeah. Viva la Revolución.
Like that. Like I got so pumped. Like him. Like
Yeah.
that. It's so cheesy how he did that.
I said it. I saw the chef of the Banshee this morning on my way to get coffee, and I put my fist in the air and said,
Yeah. It
Viva
did.
la
It
Revolución.
opened in China on October 17th, and
Wow.
it was the marking. It was the first Paul Thomas Anderson film to be released in China.
Oh shit! Wow.
This movie, of course.
Wow.
So funny.
Okay, we're back. Friends give up Willa's number while they're being interrogated.
Yes.
Deandra realized she has a phone, so we see Willa's lied.
And I think it was I want to talk about that because the person who gave it up was clearly a trans individual.
Yes.
Who
doesn't feel safe anyway.
because they said exactly right, and because they discussed the individual being trans. So I said clearly trans. I don't want to say that like in a
pretty clearly.
pretty clearly they state in the film that they're trans.
Yeah.
So the person who is most at risk, because we do see that all of these characters are pretty diverse, in the individual who they're stating this individual is most at risk, and that they are most afraid for their livelihood, probably in the situation.
It's a good point about like the concept of ratting and marginalized communities.
Exactly.
Like, in the black
Exactly.
community growing up, it's like it's just such a part of even like hip hop culture, like in modernity. It's like you're not a fucking rat. Like we stick
Right.
to the code.
Yeah.
Like it's because when you're marginalized, I guess that something violent is coming your way from the powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like an obvious moment of self-preservation physically,
Totally.
and then we get that's what
Me- and
PBH's
so-
character is too.
And then we immediately see in the car with Regina Hall, and her whole reaction during all of that, I loved. That's such a great performance that she gives. It's such a small.
She makes me want to cry.
She does,
Why?
especially
just something about her character.
because it's so.
She's so like the Christmas Club mentions purity. Like she's the pure one.
She is the pure one. She truly
Morally
believes in
and-
what she's doing, and
Yeah.
like she wants to even though Beverly Hills just wrecked and destroyed their community and the Fringe 75, like she believes in protecting her own. And that is what she's doing there. Even though everyone else be damned.
And she's
she knows
doing it.
And she knows it's likely gonna screw everyone up. And it does. But she still is doing what she believes is right.
That's what it is. It's like she's doing the hardest work too.
Yeah,
like
right.
she's really the leader now.
And the sisters obviously
Sacred Heart.
Sisters of
Is that
Sacred
what it is?
Heart.
Or that's the beaver.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting all that.
Yeah, but they clearly agree with her. They hate it, but they obviously
Yeah.
agree with her that she's doing the right thing.
Before we get to when they pull up to the not nunnery. What are those called? I have it written down. Convent.
The convent. Yeah.
We get Leo's fall from the roof.
Oh yeah,
followed by the tasing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, so funny.
Yeah, and then he's arrested. Yeah. He's brought into the hospital. He is told by people who clearly work for Sensei that he needs to say that he's diabetic.
Yeah.
So that he's able to then go into a room to allow him to escape.
Showing Sensei's reach and power.
Exactly. Him again, not questioning how all this is happening, but he is simply a Mr. Magoo. Bumbling through all of this.
It's a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, yet so much goes unexplained.
Oh, it's
at the
great.
Same time, in the best way.
But it's because of our character's lack of interest in anything going on outside of himself and his daughter.
I relate to that. I don't like to ask people questions about what they do and how they got here.
There's so much to be said about what you just said, but we don't have time for that.
Kind of hurts my relationships with women. Okay. So we have Willa approaches the convent, and it's that showdown with kind of the head nun. She's like, do I look like my mom? She says, no, just on the inside.
Oh yeah.
And then the daughter of a rat. So this is when Willa's still like, wait, my mom's dead.
Yeah.
She's a rat. Like, what's happening?
She's taking a lot in.
Because Willa thinks her mom was a hero. That's what she's been taught. One of the nuns mentions that PBH is the problem that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that was a great line.
This is when Tim the Hitman's finally introduced in that tunnel that we mentioned earlier. Hail Saint Nick.
Yeah.
We know what hail usually precedes.
That was so great.
Hail.
That was also great.
Yeah. There's no easy way to say this. So this is when they're privately discussing Lockjaw's potential black child. And with Tim sitting there, there's no easy way to say this, but it's black. Talking about because Tim's kind of just asking questions about what's going on. We're introduced to Avanti Q, the bounty hunter, who is native.
Yeah,
who plays a big role in this film near the end.
Huge, truly a crucial role in this film.
Low key, the most. Yeah, his character
he saved her life. Yeah,
so much focus.
And I could spend an hour talking about that, all of that, and what is happening in that sequence, because he makes it very clear with Lockjaw that he doesn't do anything with children, that she is a kid. Like, he doesn't apparently he obviously
Avanti or Tim? Avanti.
Yeah. Avanti makes it very clear that he doesn't hurt children, right?
Wait, when they meet later, you mean? He says this? I forget that part.
When you're talking about the indigenous man who meets out in the desert,
deserty mountains.
Yeah.
I missed that part. He says
he's like, I don't do kids.
Right.
And obviously there is a line that he's being forced to ask.
Right.
Or he's being asked to cross, and he feels like he has to.
The way that could be unpacked with just the native,
with a white man, authority figure telling this indigenous man. Which I love that they're playing into tropes there, that he is a tracker, which is a very common trope with indigenous people. So we're obviously playing that this is a modern Western, and where we're getting into this area here.
None of it needs to be overtly described at all either, which is great.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got Willa training at the convent a little bit. We got our shooting ranges. I failed to mention the iconic pregnant shooting range scene from earlier.
There's so many great montage sequences within this.
But we're getting back to Bob escaping the hospital, which we mentioned with some help. And Sensei picks him up. Just, makes you just want to hang with the bros.
Yeah.
I had a great ski trip this week with the bros. It's just like, there's nothing better, dude. Look, dry January, sure. But
just had a few little beers.
You got to crack a few little beers with the bros.
Hitting the road.
Secretly.
Having some Modelo's on the road. Some road beer.
Yeah, I wrote down
totally casual.
Selfie with beers. A lot of that for me this weekend.
That was
Take a selfie, dude. He's like so confused, but he's like, okay, aren't we running from the cops in times of the essence?
That was so great. It's such there's such chaos, and I love it. Such an over. That's part of the anxiety of this movie as it's ramping up, is the chaos. Just adds so much to it. I love it.
Yeah. Lockjaw discovers where the Brave Beaver is. Brave Beaver, that's what it's called. So we're all kind of headed there. The chase continues. Lockjaw is on the trail, and now Leo's about to catch up with them. Sorry, Bob. Willa meets Lockjaw for the first time. We get the DNA test type thing. Is that a DNA test or it's something different?
DNA test, yeah.
DeAndre is interrogated as well by Colonel Dan again.
I've never seen a DNA test like that. That was really funny, though.
So you know what that makes me think of when you mention like if the world as if the Confederacy had won.
Exactly.
So
like
they're
having to test.
Weird low tech.
Yeah.
That's modern.
Right.
Which speaks to like if they had won, like we would.
Like they've had to be testing a lot to people to see if they're passing, kind of thing. Like that made me think like because they had it in the suitcase, kind of like this. The whole setup was like very.
So what
something
I think
was there.
It speaks to like if the Confederacy had won, like we would have had less.
Good tech,
discovery, good tech, like the kind of the academic pursuits and stuff. Just less of it would have happened because they don't care as much about that stuff.
Less ingenuity, perhaps.
Yeah. Anyhow, let's see. Okay, the test is positive. This is when we get the "I'm not gay."
Yeah,
he's gay. Closet. Beers in the car. Bob Bales.
We didn't talk about this, but when he goes to meet the CAC, he does that haircut. He brushes his hair down, and then he puts the hairbrush in his mouth and makes the most disgusting. So the sound design of the movie is also great, but that and then like brushing his hair.
Great reenactment. Jesus Christ.
I know, it's the most disgusting thing. I made that face you're making right now when I was like, oh, I hate all of this, but makes him one of the best villains in recent memory.
I'm rushing through, but it's okay.
Go for it.
And of course, interrupt. I think we're going to get to a point where we can pause and talk a little bit, but this is just more kind of telling the story. Bob now, he's at the convent. He turns into a sniper against Lockjaw, who now has Willa. Willa now has this rat/warrior argument with Lockjaw about her mom. Lockjaw calls her a warrior. Interesting point of view Lockjaw has about PBH. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to call it love-hate, but whatever it is.
No, I think it showed that he saw her as less than, and now she is a problem. Like it didn't matter. She meant nothing, but now she is a problem.
Mike, we're actually doing pretty good on notes, so we don't got to rush. My thing with that is like, he finds out that's his daughter. Why doesn't he just kill her right away? Because that's the goal. Like he's having her killed.
I think it's that he
can't do it.
I think that it's. I don't think that he's physically incapable of doing it. I think that he knows that he has to have someone else do it. It must be like keep his hands clean of it kind of thing. Plausible deniability. I don't know what it is.
Okay, not to inject some humanity into him?
I don't think that it's to inject humanity into him.
I was going to say that might be the one little bit of sympathy we can have.
Maybe you could read it that way.
Yeah.
But I think that it's some kind of him inflicting his power, and maybe because he's sending it to these certain people that they will dispose of the body in a way that he is unable to.
Right.
So if he's able to show that she's left this building alive in front of all of these nuns or whomever this may be, they're probably all going to go to prison. They probably aren't going to get killed. But like to show that she's still alive, I didn't kill her.
Sure.
Whereas there is something to that.
Doesn't choose the right guy to do the job.
Does not.
Judgment a little lacking there. Just quick note, is that still recording?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so Willa is now. We mentioned that meeting between Lockjaw and Avanti in the kind of sandy mountains, cool setting there. And Lockjaw. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned this yet. Like, this is just like a personal side mission where Lockjaw's like using the military at his own like personal disposal. I feel like that's happening more today too. It's just like, I'm going to use this for my own personal desires or needs.
Exactly, absolutely.
When it's really made for the public.
Yeah, they made that, and even the Christmas Club, they're like they call that out as well. That he's using this as a guise.
It's like if you have that power, you can just use the army for your own little side missions.
Exactly.
So yeah, Willa's now in the car with Avanti. You know, we're peaking now with tension and where's the story going? What's going to happen? Mm-hmm. Avanti asks if someone will come looking for her. And I think it's just such a cool line and moment. Mm-hmm. And she's like in the back of the car trying to fight to get out because as far as she knows, this is the person that's going to kill her.
Right.
He asks that, though, not, I think on the surface it's like, oh, he's checking out for his own protection. Is somebody following us? it's really, he's saying, is someone coming to save you and protect you? And therefore, if they are, now I can do what I know I'm going to do.
Yeah.
At this white supremacist kind of compound with the tatted guards and everything. He expresses himself very subtly as an ally, and you might not catch it the first time you watch it, but I think in a rewatch, it's like that's his moment there where he decides like,
oh yeah, there's definitely a pretty clear moment where he makes that decision. And then after considering how he's then treated by the white supremacists and this, I guess were they militia? It was unclear if they were actually military or if they were just militia.
Oh no, they were like like BlackRock or whatever. Wait, what was it?
Yeah,
when I was
BlackRock.
in the army, we would have these independent contractors that would go to fucking Iraq and Afghanistan. They weren't even in the military, just like doing probably the most killing. Like it was.
I know people
nuts.
who were involved with them that went over there.
Coming from the South, maybe a lot of military stuff happening there.
Yeah. Yes.
The allyship of natives and Black Americans, just worth noting. Like it's just a moment there.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
I think it's definitely more of like there's just a lot. There's a lot to unpack there that we don't have time to get to.
Deandra is taken away. The sensei gets arrested, kind of in what's become one of the iconic scenes.
Yes.
I've had a few small beers.
A few small beers.
Put a few small
with
beers.
that little smile, a little smirk, the little Benicio smirk. Yeah.
Is that the last time we see him?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
We need a spinoff, dude.
So he's just arrested for a DUI. And
What's great about a
there's
spinoff-
what he gets off with.
Right. Yeah, what happened?
Considering if he just gets
killed?
a DUI,
He might be killed as far as we know.
No, it's regular police. It's regular police. He's been arrested by.
Well, we know the feds can walk in at any
Nah,
point.
he just gets a DUI for that. He's like, I threw some trash off the road.
What I love about the spinoff of this, if it were to happen, it won't, but is that like there's just that moment where you can cross over with this film.
Yeah.
Like we get the pre and then we get the this is what happens and then now here's what happens.
I totally would.
It's so cool.
I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Speaking of spinoffs,
We won't get it, but yeah.
that whole Fincher directing The Adventures of Cliff Booth, written by Tarantino with Brad
the
Pitt.
miniseries.
It's a film.
Is it a film? I thought it was like a 4-episode miniseries.
Oh, I might be wrong. Okay.
You're probably right. I thought it was.
I think it's just a feature film.
Oh, cool.
Just interesting spinoff. Maybe
Should be interesting.
Okay. The chase continues. Tim Smith pulls up next to Lockjaw.
His name's Tim Smith. I didn't realize that's his name. It's great.
Blasts him in the face with a shotgun while driving.
So great. That was so cool.
And, the ignorance here is both like micro and macro. It's like the micro ignorance of rolling down the window like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
With like just the macro ignorance of him not realizing that like they don't fucking... He's not invited in this club. He's going to be murdered because he had sex with a black woman.
Had a child with a black woman. Even worse.
Too. Yeah. Avanti. This is when he takes Will up to that compound we mentioned. He grabs the keys. This is like, I love the tension here.
Yeah.
This is like kind of some Tarantino-esque tension that we see with him a lot. There's like, the two dudes are here. Yeah. Like the moment's happened. He grabs the keys. The guy's like, what are you doing, you idiot?
There's a lot of nervous tension, which that's a lot of his movies. Like, I mean, Boogie Nights, prime example of that with the firecracker sequence. Like that's,
sure.
There's so many of these kinds of moments in this movie.
But this is correct me if I'm wrong, like the only kind of like Tarantino-esque shootout where mass casualties happen in a PTA movie. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he's done that before, surprisingly.
Well, you had a sequence in Magnolia.
It's like
we have the in Hard 8. There's a sequence. Yeah,
Hard 8.
Yeah, you might be right though. Yeah. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I think you're right. You're right. This felt very much like not Tarantino, but Coen, like No Country for Old Men. Felt very the way this was shot. Yeah. Felt very much No Country for Old Men. That sequence.
I like it. This is some high quality analysis here on the living directors. So Avanti grabs keys, unlocks Will's cuffs. Shootout happens. Bob Oh, we're back to Bob chasing Lockjaw on the road. He finds Lockjaw's car off the road. He finds him unconscious. He seems clearly dead.
We didn't talk about these chase sequences as we're going through these hills. So even before we get to that sequence, the car mounts and the way they do this, because they use the 35 mil, it gives this such an incredible effect throughout all of this, that it is this tensioning after we see Lockjaw. Like, this is where it's there. We're
right there. Yeah, I wrote down 3-car chase ! The wavy roads. Tim chases Willa. Bob chases both of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, I want to say maybe it was like Bill Hader. Brought they equated the scene to like an ocean shot.
Yes,
waves.
Yes, exactly.
And even like a Jaws.
It's
like Spielbergian
or
something.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's because the way the foreground, the way the foreground is fixed, but it's all the movement is so fluid throughout it, and so that's why people compare it to a roller coaster. But the waves as well, it is like it's such an incredible, and it's up there with like French Connection for like chase sequences.
Made in 1975. Just kidding, it was before that, right?
Jaws, 1975 though.
There you go. I'm just tying all the ends together. I just love that, like, just the simple intelligence of stopping at the top of the hill.
Yeah, absolutely.
That Willa does. Like, so simple, but still somehow. Yeah. It's not like cheap. It's not like, oh, that's how she.
Yeah,
wins.
And I guess it's showing.
I love that.
She's like the most competent. Like this is like he's going at it so too fast to be able to properly stop.
And this is an assassin.
And it's his arrogance too. And it's the white male arrogance that he's got her.
And he's, that character as an assassin is kind of interesting, because are we afraid of him? Yes. Is he competent? Yes. But he's not like Anton Chigurh from No Country.
No,
where he's just like, the level of terror with this hitman isn't quite there, but that also has to be intentional.
So we've only seen him do this once, and that's through Lockjaw, and then he didn't finish that job either.
But there's just like a lack of kind of menacing. Usually when we get the kind of hitman in a film,
he's
we're terrified of that person.
He's a suburban dad is kind of like what we're given, and that's part of what makes him more menacing, is that it's like he's just an every guy who does this. And he's talking about he loves chicken nuggets, like like.
Okay.
Oh, I love their nuggets.
So very smart of Willa to stop. Mm-hmm. Of course, he speeds straight in the back of her. Able to walk out of the car. Still, she yells out that Green Acres, Beverly Hills line as an identifier that he doesn't know. So Willa shoots Tim. That's when Bob pulls up. And I want to talk about this a bit. Who are you? This shit makes me emotional too, man. Like, it's the PTSD that she has.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's looking at her dad.
Totally.
And still doesn't identify him. Mixed with the fact that she just found out who her real biological father is. So, like, who are you?
And her mom.
Yeah.
And she just found out the truth about her mom.
Yeah.
So everything her entire life, she found within the last hour, right?
Give
the
her
last 2 hours.
Give Chase Infinity the Oscar for this scene.
Her entire life has been a lie.
It's one of the great acting. There's something about finding, like, new actors.
Yeah,
and then when they come into a role like this, where it's like they can actually shine. We have a lot of like kind of young actors that win Academy Awards, in their first roles or something, or not first, but
she that incredible. And then that Leo, his performance in that sequence too is all just so great. Him dropping the weapon, him realizing like he's like, if I'm gonna die, then like I'm gonna die at the hand of my daughter. Like I've done everything to be here with you. I see that you're safe. Like, and so that dropping, and of course classic Bob, where he's so inept he's unable to follow the triggers because he's dropped it all, because all of that goes to the wayside, right? You're my daughter, like I don't care. He also doesn't know any of the things that have transpired as well,
right?
So she's his daughter.
Yeah, he doesn't just respond with the code that that's a great point. What did I want to say about that? Oh shit, I forget. Their hug. Wait, give me a second. Yeah, oh well, I lost it. I think my favorite scene of the film right there
is the end.
Just that moment when she's asking, "Who are you?" and then they finally hug. Damn it, what did I want to say? Oh well. They get in the car now. They drive off, and we see Colonel Lockjaw.
Colonel Lockjaw.
Can't be killed.
Can't be killed.
Lockjaw lives. His bloody face. Also, iconic shot there. Him marching down the street. And this takes us. We're near the end of the film here, man. Great.
Right. So
timing,
he's in
bro.
there with the CAC, and that the line.
Boardroom.
The boardroom. They're interviewing him again, presumably for this is the last thing, and he's going. He's in. He's horribly disfigured, and he does admit that it was reverse rape. That's what he doesn't admit it. So, but he
Raped
says
in
that
reverse, yes.
raped in reverse, and that she was a semen demon, which is just the greatest.
Well, this
The
speaks,
mental gymnastics happening
right?
is so incredible.
The delusions of the white supremacists with a lot of money and power. It's like, yeah, you're creating anything to justify your own kind of evil actions or intentions.
They're definitely not trying to. I'm not saying his internal scars are now showing on his outside. And he has been, his internal wounds and disfigurement is now shown on externally. And I'm not saying that in a way that people who have these types of scars are less than or are monsters. I'm not saying that. But we're seeing his insides are representing his outsides in a way. Yeah. And I think that's a clear transformation that they're visually trying to see.
Right. Just like the nun told Willa that she looks like her mom on the inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a very clear, that's very intentional. That's not, thank you.
Lockjaw also says, they desired the power of my mind and body.
And he's like, he's doing this weird because of his mouth. It's
but
so
saying
gross.
you were raped in reverse because they desired the power of your mind and body, like that's all
such a
complete projection.
Yeah, that's like such a white privileged like.
But he's the one that desires
absolutely.
her body,
Absolutely.
their body.
Yeah. Absolute projection.
In mind. Sandy. I never met their names, Virgil and Sandy.
Virgil and Sandy, very typical.
Worth noting, Virgil and Sandy off clean as a whistle. Like nothing bad happens to them. There's also there's two other, we missed this part, but there are two other members in a board meeting earlier on.
Right.
That's when I think Tim comes in for the first time.
Tim does come in, yeah.
And one of those actors, man, the older one,
I can't remember.
The most pedo, greasy,
yes,
grimy
that
energy.
guy.
Oh, that type of white person.
He's great. He's been in a million things.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now. He is incredible.
Good casting there for just
totally,
people being like just Epstein-like.
Yeah, and so then Sandy, right?
Yeah.
Sandy shows him to his office.
Yep. That's what Addison did when he brought me up here.
Yeah. There's the vent's right above you too.
And I walked in there about to have a great episode. Yeah. So he's gassed.
Right. He under the belief that his dreams are fulfilled and he has achieved his destiny.
Oh, let me throw this at you.
Uh-huh.
Similar to the Pesci scene in Goodfellas.
Exactly.
Walking in, about to get made.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. But Pesci, did Lockjaw realize it? Or did he die before he could realize it?
He never realized it.
Exactly. Pesci realized it.
Yeah, did have a moment.
Yeah.
Interesting point. And like in Goodfellas, like they wanted him to know before he died. And this like not wanting him to, that's an interesting kind of level of sinister.
To keep that
Father-daughter. We're back at home.
Right.
So everything's finally come full circle. Great podcast by them, man. This was really good. Good for me. So yeah, they're back at home. They're talking about protection and the truth about her mom, and he's talking about like, why I didn't tell you the truth, and the whole cool dad thing, and like that did that scene resonate with you as a dad? Things that in the future where you're gonna be like, what things do you hide from your kids, if anything?
Totally. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, your job is to protect and foster and nurture your children. And Bob, regardless of his flaws and everything he's been through, that's his life, is her and protecting her and being there for him, even though he's messed up. I mean, it seems like he's gotten his act together at this point. Like he's like been woken up to it.
They went through a little bit.
But yeah, totally. I mean, all of that really. Yeah, so much of the movie is about identity as a parent, Yeah, and that's definitely something we talk about. You grapple with as a parent, and especially as they get older and they're having their own sense of identity and,
Exactly.
their independence. And so I think they do a great job. As we then see the battle, it's another battle, is that she's then taken on and she's going to fight the next battle.
There's kind of like a binary element to parenting. I feel it's like there's like, pre-puberty, post-puberty. It's like, then they're just such, what's required from you as a parent is so drastically different.
Absolutely.
And then this is now like once they become a teenager, late teen, adult, like these are the conversations that come up.
She's a fully functioning adult. She functions a lot better than he does, very clearly. Right. And she's a competent, and so he also has that, we see where he's kind of, I don't want to say overbearingly protective of her earlier on, but after going through this, it's very clear, like, she can handle herself, because she's going to Seattle or Oregon or Portland. She may be going to Portland in the movie. Oh, because she's going to Oakland. Okay, yeah, sorry.
3.5 hours away.
That's right. Okay, that's right. Oh, yeah.
How often do you think about that? I'm sorry if I'm prying personal stuff. Like, how often do you think down the road, like, how I'm going to parent when my child is 15? Like, do those things, does parenting just kind of, it comes day by day? Like, how much pre-planning and like thinking, kind of daydreaming about what kind of parent you'll be? Like,
I think we think about your own childhood, right? I'm sure you think about like when you were that age, like things your parents said or did,
or didn't
say that I think of, and I'm like, oh, I remember my mom or dad said or didn't say this in this situation. I wish they had done that. So I hope that if I am encountered with that same situation, this is how I would react. But I think we all do that regardless of actually our parents. Like, we're like, how would we want to react in these situations? And so that's a lot of it. But yeah, definitely it's day by day. Because then also, like, I say I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to behave, and this is how I'm going to react, and then I don't react that way because I'm a human being, and we aren't perfect. We don't live in a vacuum, right? So yeah, but it definitely is like you plan, you talk about it with your partner, and but yeah, then you get punched in the face, and you see what actually happens.
Is that Mike Tyson quote?
Yep.
Everybody thinks they have a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yep.
Okay, so Lockjaw's incinerated. That just speaks to kind of the ease with which people like this can get away with crimes.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. There is no resolution. The villain doesn't necessarily lose. The villain is so much more. And then the good guys don't win, but they're able to live to fight another battle, which is the point.
Essential part of the story.
It is the point of the story, right? Yeah.
I just wrote down here, Chase Infinity is a beam of light. I really fell in love with her as an actor.
Oh, she's incredible. Yeah, all the cast is great. They worked so well with each other, and they were all being nominated for nominations across the board, and not surprised.
Critics' Choice Awards just happened. This is actually what I based the 10 films off of the nominees for the Critics' Choice Award. And I know PTF won for director. I think won battle. I should have looked this up.
I didn't look it up.
I think it won for film.
And then Golden Globes are this weekend.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're Sunday night. So
dope. Yes, the drinking awards.
Yeah, I think
we get our own glass or bottle of wine at home.
I know Sean Penn and Benicio were both nominated for supporting at the Golden Globes. And
you throwing a Golden Globe party at the house?
No, I'm not throwing a Golden Globe party. No.
Okay. I missed the Christmas one.
Oscar party. Catch up. Oscar party, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah. This is when we get the letter from Mom. Also, obviously, incredibly emotional scene.
Yeah, that's what really got me emotionally. Like that vulnerability that Bob is also showing, and then her understanding of why he kept it from her. Like, there's so much there, because like very much could have been a moment in a lesser film where I think we would have seen her, a character who would have reacted poorly to then, like, why'd you hide this from me kind of thing.
It's a great point. Her maturity.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I feel like if a lesser film would have had to give that one last minute of conflict, but it would have been a disservice to this character and her growth.
Also, I think it's intentional and important that she does not shed a tear, because the audience is shedding tears.
She totally realizes it. Yeah.
But she's reading this letter and she goes and hugs her father afterwards. But usually I feel like she'd be waterworks in a film where this character would. She's not, which speaks to her kind of resolve, or just her jadedness, her emotional strength that's been forced upon her, for lack of a better word. In the letter, it says, "Hello from the other side of the shadows."
Yes.
Shadows is a good metaphor for kind of the way they have to live. she says, Mom says, I pretended my whole life, whether I pretended to be dead or pretended to be, I forget what else she says.
Yeah, it feels like the first time we've like the facade of that character is broken down. We actually see her as a human and not just this legend or some kind of entity, if you will. Like she's actually like a really vulnerable character in that moment, in that letter.
It's so interesting that we're like, we can be at least at odds with our sympathy towards Mom.
Absolutely.
It's so interesting.
We totally can be. Yeah, I mean, like that's the point. Is like
do we hate her?
You want to be at odds with all of these characters because no one's perfect. And that's what we're trying to see with these characters, and that's a common theme with all of his films too.
There's just these moments where we're really like open up to be really mad at that.
Absolutely.
Woman, but then feel guilt for being mad as just a viewer, or even as a white man. Like that plays into all that too.
No,
like,
so much of it. And us as like, if us as liberals or progressives, then it's like she's going off fighting these fights, but what does she sacrifice? And are we mad at her for sacrificing that, for fighting this fight that we're trying to fight, or that our neighbor's trying to fight, or so there's so much there, and I love that it doesn't resolve these things, because any type of resolution to that would be inauthentic, I feel like, and I'm glad we don't see where she actually is, because we don't know that she's dead.
100%, she's alive.
Yeah, I mean, like we know that she's not. We know she's not dead. We know she's off in Cuba, or was that what they said?
She mentions that.
Yeah,
but she also hasn't returned.
Yeah.
When was the letter written?
We don't know exactly. So she could be dead. She could be. It's presumably it's been a while. It's been a while.
Well, 16 years since fast forward 16 years.
Right, but it didn't say when the letter was written, so we don't know how long that's been.
Oh, wait. It would have, unless it was mailed to
I think it was mailed to Dad.
Oh, okay, it wasn't left.
I think that it was mailed to him.
Okay.
That's what I believe, unless I'm mistaken.
But you know what, dude? It's such a good, and we'll wrap up here in a sec. It's such a great testament to PTA as a writer and stuff. It's like, nitpicking plot holes or
it's not. Yeah, it's and
this is not a plot.
They're not plot holes either.
They're
intentional character choices. Yeah,
or unanswered, and it's just like there's no nitpicks in this guy's movies, dude. I
mean, there are definitely things you can nitpick for sure,
okay.
But
sorry, I guess I'm just speaking from
but I mean, with any film you can nitpick things, but overall, well, yeah, but overall. Yeah, I don't want to. I know we got to wrap up. But no, overall, it's a great film. It's not his best film. It might be. I don't know. Maybe if I rewatch it more times, I'll rate higher. It is definitely his most ambitious film.
Interesting. Boogie was pretty ambitious.
I think more from.
They're all pretty ambitious.
Yeah, they're all very ambitious, but more of like to have this much money, to have this kind of caliber of film, this big of a studio film from him is very ambitious, and it's quite sprawling in a way that his other films haven't been. I mean, sure, There Will Be Blood is very sprawling and is large, but this is a very different type of beast.
The settings of There Will Be Blood are pretty compact.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Not really venturing.
They are, but there's not as many. There's just not as much.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So we had his Maximus films. Even his Maximus films weren't as big and sprawling as this in my mind.
All right. So yeah, we'll wrap this up by mentioning that Dad has trouble figuring out the phone. They're listening to Dispatch.
Yeah.
Having trouble figuring out the phone just shows the evolution of him as like, I'm now going to use phones. So there's like an implied safety there now?
Yeah, he feels that their villain is gone, that they're forgotten, that no one's going to be coming after them. Why would they be coming after them?
That kind of went past me a little bit. The fact that the safety that they now feel.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? The government still exists. Like, they're not being tracked anymore. What is happening? They
must feel this sense of security with these new identities.
They're back at the same house.
Same house. That is like that whole thing. I'm kind of like,
okay, we found the nitpick.
I was a little like, I don't know about all this, but
it would be back at the same house.
because it was clear that it was Lockjaw's pursuit of them. So perhaps that they were told to shut that down because it could come back to the CAC at some way. Yeah.
We don't know the military fallout of that. Like, what general found out that Lockjaw went on some side mission
exactly,
by himself?
And it was like, investigating these things. It could be a whole thing. So yeah.
Will is off to Oakland. Dad says, "Hey, be careful," and she says, "I won't."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it it's also relevant to today. You know, a lot of kind of pushback I get from your kind of Trump voter I talked to today is like, stop overreacting. Everything's going to be fine. You're overreacting.
Who's it going to be fine for?
Exactly. It's going to be fine for the Christmas Adventurers Club.
Exactly.
So, you know, just this whole concept of like, how serious do we take today? You know, am I going to ever pull up arms? No. It's not my nature. I don't think that's a smart way to go about anything. Am I ever going to promote violence? No, of course not. But like, what do you then do? It's like the age-old question, and so many people are asking it today. Mm-hmm. And I just had a conversation this morning about that. And, you know, we see what they do in this film. I think my answer to that question now, what do you do today? What do we do today to prevent kind of suffering from being inflicted on marginalized communities or American citizens that are not marginalized, and where this can all go? I think that it starts with believing in democracy, the democracy that we have. And a lot of people have trouble with that, liberals and conservative. You know, your middle class kind of average person, common sentiment is like, my vote doesn't matter. No, this matters. The powers that be are the powers that be. Doesn't matter what political side they're on. They're gonna do what they want, cover up what they want, blah blah blah, inflict what they want without consequence. I don't believe that. Like that's the revolution now, is believing in the vote, believing in democracy, that we do have power as voting citizens in this country, and you know, whether it means taking on further action, you know, being involved in political action committees and boards and trying to be, you know, intimately involved in the political process, like, yes, do that. But we got to believe in the vote. I think it's kind of the only hope we have. And boycotts. I think in this capitalist consumerist country we live in, boycotts have immense power. So, and you can look up a variety of boycotts that are public now, and I think those can show some pretty quick results if done right. And it comes down to mobilization, and we can do that in this era of cell phones and connectivity. And yeah, man.
Thank you, Sensei.
That's how I feel. Would you like to give any final words on how this film made you feel? Anything you learned from it? Any takeaways moving forward?
You know, this is a very inspirational film, as an American and as a filmmaker. It probably is my favorite film of the year. I think, you know, this is a great film for anyone who's inspiring and wanting to feel inspired as an aspirational film, regardless of what your political beliefs may be. I think if you don't feel something watching this movie, then you're dead. And just for everyone out there, just watch out for the semen demons. They're out there.
All right, Dustin. This, like I said, this I think is my favorite podcast I've ever done. This was great. It's a pleasure.
And also check out For the Fuzzies streaming in April.
Really?
2026.
Any more details?
That's all I can say.
I need to get a frame to protect the autograph on that thing.
There you go.
Living Directors Podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We have video now on YouTube, which is exciting. We're getting off the ground floor here at the AC Podcast Network with all these channels. So your support is most welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Dustin, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.